I use Miss Creative because that's like my work name whenever I'm doing my creative
Miss
projects.
Creative, okay. But you prefer to go by Michelle?
No, I actually prefer to go by Sheba. So it's
Sheba.
like MS Creative, Michelle
MS
Sheba.
Creative. Sheba. Okay, I can do that.
I'm interesting.
No, no. All right, look, very, very interesting.
Yes. So how do you feel about it? Everything? Like, I don't know. I think I've been anticipating that Trump was going to win just because I feel like this is the year that we just aren't going to get what we want.
Right.
But I mean, we have to go by the numbers, and so far, what are we seeing?
Well, you know, the interesting thing about what's going on right now in our politics is that you see obviously a great divide between the people who support Trump versus the people who support Biden. What I found interesting and going through some of the polls and watching news and listening to people talk is that they are vastly different on issues. On the Democratic side, on the
Hmm.
Biden side, they're concerned about coronavirus. They're concerned about the state of the union. They're concerned about the fact that there's injustice and inequality uh, when it comes to racial relations,
Hmm.
things of that sort. It kind of trickles down into lower percentage brackets after that. When you look at the Trump side and their supporters, the only thing that is resonating with them primarily is the economy and law and order. So if you look at
Hmm.
the economy, it's at 63% for them. And then law and order is somewhere in the neighborhood of like 17%, and everything else is in single digits pretty much. And I found that interesting because I'm thinking to myself, well, as citizen of this nation, and my brother that lives across the street and my sister that lives on this side of the street and so forth, I'm thinking we would have some sort of common goal, if you will, on what is important. I understand every household is different, every person is different, but you would think that some of the more uh, current events that are currently taking place would resonate with people. If you say, hey, you know what, I see that this person is suffering, we need to bring some attention to that. Or, there's some issues with this virus and that we're not attacking it or addressing it correctly. We need to corral everybody back and let's do get back to the business of living and having our lives. I haven't
Hmm.
seen my parents and been able to touch them since February. So this is a very serious issue for me. But then for those, it seems like it's not a big issue, and they're vastly just polar opposites of where we are on a spectrum of what's important, what's not important in America. And I think this election is basically a pathway as to what direction do we want to go as far as our soul is concerned,
Yeah.
this nation. So I'm really hoping that this, without taking into consideration the variations in polling data and so forth, that there are a lot of people that are quietly saying, hey, you know what, this is craziness. Yes, I voted for Trump because I thought he was going to be the guy on the white horse that comes to rescue us from the traditional politician. That hasn't come to fruition, so
Hmm.
that they change course. And I'm hoping that silent majority return and actually say, hey, let's get the nation back on a different path, a better path.
It's so interesting to me that the news stations
Mm-hmm.
broadcast such a different
Mm-hmm.
view. Like, I went to a Chinese restaurant a while ago because I don't
Okay.
watch Fox News, but I watched it at the Chinese restaurant and I was so shocked at how they really downplay the virus
Right.
and how they really have convinced their watchers that it is a hoax.
Right.
And they believe that they're being forced to wear a mask because their rights are just being infringed upon. Like, first of all, if this is an infringement of your rights, you've never had any type of oppression and experience because it's not that big of a deal to wear a mask over your face. I
Right.
mean, is it completely comfortable? No. But when you have people who are actually dying
Mm-hmm.
because they've been diagnosed, and yes, it might be some pre-existing condition that takes them down, But if they had never been exposed to COVID-19, they would still be alive.
Right. So let me ask you this question. In that Chinese restaurant and the news station that was on, was it a local news station, like an American station, or was it a Chinese station?
No, it was Fox News.
It was Fox News. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was
Um,
Fox News.
so what's interesting about that is, again, health and safety should never be politicized. It should be that, hey, it's like with STDs or HIV or anything else that you can contract through sex. It's like, hey, you know what? You protect yourself by putting on a condom. You protect yourself by abstaining from sex. You protect yourself by not having random acts of sex with people indiscriminately. There's a lot of ways that you can go about it, but the universal thought is that you protect yourself and others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that should never be politicized. And I think, unfortunately, because our leader in chief, or as I like to say, our liar in chief,
Uh-huh.
uh, has politicized it to the point where he has made it to where if you do wear a mask or someone asks you to wear a mask, you're infringing upon your rights. Your right to what? I don't understand. To not wear a mask? Well, that's fine. Stay away from everyone else then that is wearing a mask, because we don't want to catch what you may have, or I may have something, and I'm trying to also protect you. But again, if you're a good, effective leader, you can pretty much convince your followers to follow you right off a cliff. They
You
can
ought to be able to.
Right. They can follow you in the battle. Think about how generals in the past have had their soldiers go and walk forward, shooting guns at each other point blank in range to convince them that there was a noble cause behind the act. That's an effective leader.
Right.
In this sense, you have somebody that's just basically filling your head with nonsense, and people are, instead of just following it and doing their own research and understanding, hey, my safety is at risk here, they're blindly listening to this guy and others like him that basically says, oh, it's not going to protect you. Well, if that's the case, why was he ever wearing a mask? Why was any of his people ever wearing a mask?
Right.
Why anybody in his audience wearing masks?
Exactly.
It's basically it's a huge contradiction, but in my opinion, it's essentially a failure in leadership. That's what it boils down to.
I agree. And I'll tell you that my 7-year-old daughter,
Mm,
who doesn't watch the news, but she does watch YouTube,
right,
is very adamant about him being stupid and an idiot.
right,
And that's not because I just walk around calling him stupid idiot, but she can see that, he is lacking in some areas. And it's just so interesting to me that there's so many signs, and they've had parades here um, regularly over the last couple of days where
mhm,
they're flying flags. And to me, it just reminds me of the Klan. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't spark any other feeling in me than, oh, these people are trying to bully because of the neighborhoods they're going to with this.
right.
It's reminding me of intimidation,
That's exactly.
and it's intentional.
Well,
And I think that's ugly. Like, I don't even understand how we can be following a person who operates that way. Like, I always look at it from a spiritual level, and
right,
I'm like, this is wrong.
absolutely.
It's just
I,
wrong.
I think when I was having this a kind of a similar discussion with some friends of mine, we were talking about church, and we were saying, we was talking about particular pastors or whatever, and I said, well, remember, church is filled with sinners. There are no saints in church, including the pastor himself. But they all understand and effectively know that they are flawed uh, morally, and that they need that guidance and reassurance from each other to help, because they said, all it needs is just one or two or three people, and you already have the church of God with you.
Mhm.
And you get that reassurance that I am doing the right thing, I'm headed down the right path, and you kind of help keep each other in check. Um, but again, when you have someone that is a false leader,
Mhm.
someone that, so let me give you another example. The 2000 election between Al Gore and George W. Bush.
Right. Okay.
What happened with that? Florida was the toss-up state. It came down to hanging chance, and it went to the Supreme Court. And weeks later, we found out Bush won by, I forgot exactly how many votes, but narrow margin.
Right.
After they did the recount, Al Gore conceded. Bush proceeded to address the nation. One of the things that basically got me on his side, because I voted for Al Gore, Bush said, and for those of you who did not vote for me, I plan to earn your vote and your trust. Essentially bringing those in that were divided, that had, basically the people who supported him and the people who did not support him, trying to bring the nation together and say, for those of you that didn't vote for me, I understand, but I am your president too, and I'm going to try to earn your trust
Right.
and respect. And that's what you do as a leader. This guy here cares nothing about anybody that doesn't agree with him, including people in his own party. So all you have to do is disagree with him just a little bit.
You're fired.
And you're either be fired or you're going to catch his ire. So it's very interesting, but that's what we have, unfortunately, right now. And that's what happens when you have people not effectively use their power to vote. That is, in my opinion, it's the most nonviolent and silent way to use your voice. And I find it depressing, and I left, just kind of like dumbfounded why people would say things like, "Well, I'm not voting in the national election. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't want to be led. I don't by kings and rulers and dictators and so forth." And that's fine. I understand the thinking and rationale behind it. The only problem is with that, the flawed thought in that is that when you decide you don't want to play the game and you want to go away, the game is still being played whether you want it to be played or not. Those people are still governing your lives. Those people are still writing laws and putting
Right.
legislation in place that still are going to ultimately affect you. And you didn't really want to participate, but guess what? You are now.
Right. I mean, I think that's why Fallon told him too, like, even if you don't follow these laws,
Right.
they're still here. And he actually is trying to start a podcast for reading to increase literacy in our community so that people are able to read.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we talked about that too. And I think for us to sort of get started doing this and to be more present and talking about what's really going on, hopefully we'll be able to make some change.
Absolutely, I totally agree that words mean something. You dialogue with people is that they understand the words that they're using and the words that are being used with them. There's a difference between should and shall. Should is basically saying, well, we recommend this. Shall is basically saying, you will do this.
Yeah.
Words have meaning, and when people just arbitrarily kind of use words without really understanding the meaning, or they read something or they hear something without really understanding what's being said or the message is being relayed, then they get lost, and they unfortunately will be illiterate to exactly what the message is trying to be conveyed.
Yeah. She's got this door open, so it's Kronk over here.
Uh-oh. More people are
And
joining.
apparently we're getting some spectators. I surely hope that she's got some speakers. If not, oh well.
All right.
This is our first time. We've got some food. You'll have to tell us what you cooked. No, you'll have to bring the food and tell us what you cooked.
9. Right.
So Nicole,
Hello.
thank you for joining.
Hi. We're gonna have some studio member audiences. That's okay.
Okay, that's
Great.
good.
Okay. Hi.
Can you tell us what you prepared?
Oh, I threw together something. I threw together a baked salmon with some fresh cracked pepper, a little bit of garlic, and then a salad with bell peppers, tomatoes, and herbs. It's an herb salad. It's more French than anything.
Okay,
It's
like
a
you.
French thing, yes.
Okay.
Rich, so
All right, we gotta be
it's a
two,
little
two
French.
little French girls in here.
Yes,
I'm
Okay.
still on.
We wait.
So yeah, and we have
and I'm on.
Jen
Yeah.
and Iris are going to join us for
Okay.
the studio audience, and they are also perusing the
Don't get
air
me
as well.
Okay.
So it'll be fantastic. If you just a moment.
No, yeah, it's totally fine. We've just been chatting
Okay, fantastic.
and talking.
Well, it looks like Arkansas's come in.
Okay, let me check the numbers.
Okay,
Or
Arkansas
Mahliik, can you see?
And
yeah,
Biden is leading in
up
Arkansas,
here,
which is a shocker.
Arkansas for
Oh Lord, have mercy.
But it's okay. It's okay. It's still early. It's still early. These are states with small electoral college
what I'm seeing
numbers,
right
so
now
it's
is-
okay. It's okay.
My microphone is
It's
like
okay. We are. Look, listen. I've got rum
they
right
have
here.
Connecticut being
okay.
projected.
well, we don't
for,
have any
Joe
current
Biden.
views. We had some. But that's okay.
I didn't hear
I don't want anybody to get discouraged.
Right.
I didn't hear what you said.
I don't either.
Okay. What did you say? I'm sorry. I didn't
I
hear what you
said
said.
Connecticut has been awarded to Joe Biden.
Of course.
Okay.
How many EC votes are in Connecticut?
I have to look that one up. I don't know. I have. So he's got Connecticut and Massachusetts.
Vermont. I know
already
he's got
there.
Vermont.
New Jersey. Of course, that's the standard stuff. Maryland.
Uh-huh.
And I'm still waiting on the rest of it to come through. But that's what I have right now.
All right, fantastic. Well, okay, he's got the small states, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how small the state is. It doesn't matter because every vote counts.
Absolutely.
And every electoral college vote counts. So it's okay. Florida, we kind of knew was going to go to Trump. Indiana, we knew was going to go to him because
Places that are extremely white.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, Mike Pence is from Indiana, so there is that. So we kind of figured that it would go. And Florida is like, you know what? Florida's Florida. And I always ask myself in the day, do we really need Florida?
I don't believe so.
I don't think we need Florida.
We have some people who have commented on the question of the night, which is, can you date someone with an opposing political view? And I can't tell who it is because it must have come from our group. And then you have to approve. If you're watching from the group, you have to tell StreamYard through watching that they can use your name. Otherwise, you are a Facebook user. So Facebook user says, I can't date a partisan MF, period. Loyalty to one party makes no sense for Black people.
Okay, interesting. That's an interesting take.
Okay. So
I wonder why that is. I wonder why Facebook user that posted at 7:23 p.m. thinks that, because partisan. How can you not be partisan? I mean, you're going to be, even if we're human beings, like you're going to be either one way or the other. You're not. It's very hard to walk the gray line, even though people think they walk in gray. They don't walk in gray. Even grayest of people are one side or the other. Mm-hmm. Like for instance, I'll give you an analogy. Mm-hmm. If your boat is sinking and somebody says, "Would you like a lifeboat?" You think you're gonna pause?
I mean, well, no. I guess if you're really drowning, if you're super drowning,
what's super drowning? Just define super drowning.
Okay, so for me, I feel like if I was in some water and I felt like I could swim to shore and somebody that I didn't want to save me tried to come save me, I would be like, nah, I got it.
Really?
Am I me?
Really? You missing me extra for no reason? Really?
Okay.
That's why. But that's a little extra. That's a little extra. I feel like, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Okay. I probably would, but yeah, you're right.
Okay, thank you. Because
okay.
You're always going to choose self. Like because self-preservation is it's instinct, so you can't really not do it. Yeah, so you're gonna just
you're right. I would be like, throw me the life preserver, Trump. Give it to me, Donald.
I don't know if Donald was the one throwing the life preserver. I might just go ahead and let me try this floating thing out and this thing out and see where it takes this.
Like at some point, I'd be like, get in here.
Well, even the Bible says that you can still get scripture from the Lord, even from a prostitute. So, unfortunately, we have to take the blessings wherever they may come from. I'm not, saying that I'd like it or not, but if someone were to show an act of kindness like that and our life were in jeopardy, then yes, I would definitely extend the hand. Because at that point, I think the person is being more human than actually political.
You're so nice.
Well, Mahliik, I think that is the point here, to be honest.
Yes.
I feel like we're missing that across the board, is the humanity in each other.
Absolutely.
Like when you see people who are super angry and they're like, I hate the other side. I'm like, but you're missing the connection that is there via divinity in all of us.
Right.
And I know you're probably like, no, I'm gonna run somebody over my car. But like, I just feel like if we could operate with that mindset of, I am choosing love here, and it's unfortunate that you're not, but I still can.
Right.
You know.
I'm really trying to be objective. I really am. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be objective. I see what you're saying. You are so right. You are giving out the right energy. I'm gonna let you be great. You are giving out the right. Yes.
That salmon looks delectable.
Well, I did. Just throw it together.
No, you're an excellent. She's a chef. For those watching, well, no one's watching yet, but that's okay.
No,
Anyway, they're gonna be watching. They're gonna be watching.
Yeah. See?
They're gonna watch. But yeah, she's actually a chef. So yeah, always good.
Absolutely.
I have a kitchen that I can be a chef in.
Renaissance.
That's awesome.
So yes, we're at your new home.
Yes.
I've brought the whole studio here. I'm hoping I don't lose any of my pieces because I need them for the morning vibe. But yes, I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. I'm first podcast from my new home.
Yeah.
My humble abode, I must say.
Yeah.
And I'm just thank you because you helped me manifest it. She did. She helped me manifest it.
I sure did.
When just like
that was the very first goal that you wrote down whenever we first started working.
Yes.
So
it was a goal, and it was like my top goal, but it wasn't even like I was just kind of like, oh, I'm bullshitting you because I know I'm not gonna be able to do that yet. I'm bullshitting you, but it was. You were
yeah.
Right.
When I found your paper the other day, and I was like,
okay, so I'm really kind of nervous to see if there's any other numbers that came in because I'm kind of terrified.
I feel like you just need to just don't you worry about a thing, because I mean, what can we do about it? This is not going up.
We can drink. I guess.
We could play a drinking game. No, because I like have to
work in the morning.
Yeah,
yes, that's not gonna be a good idea.
Yeah, because Michaela's already like, she ain't never coming back.
Yeah.
Anytime I leave the house, she's like,
you can see them.
Okay, so I'm sorry I missed the first part because I was kind of.
Oh, we were just talking about yeah. I see that. Yeah, we have
our studio audience is watching the return. This is Jen. She's going to be in our studio audience. Jen.
She's like, girl, I'm trying to look at the TV.
Jen is an old friend. I was given the background story to Jen about Jen. Jen, come on, we have a seat in our studio.
Hello.
Yeah, everybody. Jen. Hi, Jen. Jen came to visit from Dallas. Jen lives in Dallas. I've known Jen for about 8 years.
Okay.
We're here.
24, 25. I've known Jen for 25 years.
Don't even look 300 years old.
I know. Well, thank you. Maybe she's born with it.
Do you guys have the link real quick so I can send it to my family and friends?
It's in the chat. You want me to send it again?
If you could.
It should be in our private chat. It is www.facebook.com/betweenusgirls.
I see it.
They want to take a picture with her. That's hilarious. Right.
Yes.
I don't want to eat on camera.
Girl.
You don't.
Well, you can go ahead. And then he and I can continue. You just finish, and then I'll just be over here. Okay. Just close the doors if y'all, so y'all can talk or whatever. Yeah.
All right.
It doesn't look like anything's changed, but I know you said that. What state was that?
For me?
You said that there was another state that came in?
What I have here is, I was watching it. The last state was Connecticut, so I haven't seen anything new yet. So right now, Biden has Connecticut, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, Massachusetts, and Vermont.
Okay.
And Trump has collected West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Indiana.
Okay. So let me ask you then,
Yes.
because I feel like you and I are on the same wave kind of spiritually in that we are really seeking a higher vibration for our
Our nation, our family,
yes.
and everything encompassed.
Mm-hmm. Because I heard what you said about it kind of being not a battle, but like sort of for our soul,
For our soul, right?
because if we choose the right choice, then we'll be moving towards the right path of at least not hatred, because I feel like it's been very, very heavy. So I guess my question is, what do you think? Give me the scenario that you think will happen with either party taking the seat.
Um, so tonight is so my brother sent me a meme earlier today, and he's an attorney for the DOJ, for the Department
Mm,
of Justice, and he's got stories that were interesting in itself. But he sent a meme that basically said tonight is our waiting is like someone waiting for the STD results back.
mm,
That's how serious it is. And as I was talking, I was thinking to myself, wow, that's pretty intense, because if it's if it's positive, we don't want that type of news. So it's almost like it's you're hoping for the negative result in that scenario. In this one, we're hoping for the positive result in the sense that we want the direction of our country to go in a more positive direction. The vitriol should never be a part of our politics. You and I can have dialogue and discussion on a variety of topics, and we can agree to disagree. I understand that you have a vantage point that I'm not privy to. You're a woman. I don't understand what that's like. I don't know if you're a mother or not, but regardless of that, I still don't know what it's like to be a mother to carry life inside of my body. And there are so many other
mhm.
topics we can touch upon. But when I think of that, is that too often we refuse to take the vantage point of the other person's point of view. We're listening and we're waiting to fire back with our response to what they're saying rather than hearing what they're saying and then trying to gain understanding. So when I talk to a lot of my political friends, one of the things that I try to do is I try to put myself in their position, especially if they're on the right. I want to hear what is important to them. Why is it so important? And give me the insight. And a few times every now and then, they give me some food for thought that I'm like, huh, I never thought of it from that angle. And then vice versa. They've said, hey, Mahliik, to be honest, I really never thought of it from that point of view. And when you have people who can have one-on-one dialogue like you and I are having,
Mhm.
oftentimes people are very cordial, they're professional, they're caring and understanding. It's when you get the herd mentality, when you get the group mentality of people, that there's a leader that all he has to do is incite just a little bit, and then he can get the bad vibrations out of everyone else. And
Right.
now they don't have to be individuals; they can be part of a herd. So you talked about when you see people going down your street or another street in neighborhoods, waving their Trump flags or waving their Confederate flags or whatever. That's a herd mentality because 9 times out of 10, the individual is not going to do that on their own. So back to the original point of this the discussion is that if we can somehow find a common ground to say, hey, you know what, this is where to we want to begin and end with this conversation,
Yeah. If you
that
have
we
one
have
to plug
found
into there, that would be lovely.
that we have found uh, common ground to say, hey, we didn't agree on this, but we found some ways that we can solve the problem. We're going to take a little bit of what you said, we're going to take a little bit of what I've said, and we're going to try to find some common ground. And again, until that starts to happen and people start to realize that, hey, the way you get more flies with honey rather than vinegar, we'll always have the vitriol and the mudslinging and just the bad intentions by our politicians. And no, we're not supposed to hold them at a higher standard. We should, but unfortunately we don't. And just think of it this way: before Donald Trump, there were politicians that would engage each other, in mudslinging, but they kept it just between, each other. They didn't involve their families and they didn't involve groups. And now it's gotten to the point where you start talking about people's mom and their dad and their wife and their kids. And that's where it gets personalized. And that's where it definitely has stepped out of bounds. And too often that's happened, especially in the last 4 years.
Yeah, like talking about Joe Biden's son.
Yeah.
Like, it is not easy to be a drug addict, first of all, and it is absolutely not easy to be the family member of somebody who is addicted to drugs. And it's not your responsibility, and it's not your fault as the family member. So to be bringing that up as if he had anything to do with it's wrong.
Absolutely.
I have a family member who is God love him. He's gone off with it, but that's not our responsibility to be, owning. And I think that's my thing about it is I'm like, it feels like middle school, like a middle school bully.
Yes.
That is the energy of Donnie.
Yes, of this administration, because his supporters, the people who are in his cabinet members, they all pretty much regurgitate the same vitriol and crap that he tells them to do.
Oh, now it's coming out there.
Until that changes and we get some real more respectable
Okay.
people in office, that's in the term limit thing that we kind of touched upon in the last podcast. I definitely need to be applied in the Senate and in the House. It can't just be for governors, it can't just be for mayors, and it can't just be for the president. It's got to be for Congress too.
Right. I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of fighting, no matter who wins. So, like, what are you guys kind of expecting up there in regards to like backlash?
Well, I'll tell you this. My family's home. I basically corralled everyone and said, "Hey, we're just going to treat it like a winter storm. We stocked up on food, got the movies out, and besides me doing this, everybody's just kind of lounging around the house and doing their own thing." Having said that, don't think that I haven't gone upstairs and polished the guns and loaded the weapons and have everything ready, because I am a Georgia boy. I am a black man in a Republican state. I am a liberal, but I'm also a conservative. I do have guns and I will use them. So with that being said, I don't anticipate any of that stuff happening, but we're ready if something does happen. And, I have to be 1,000% honest. I just don't see any of that happen. I think you would hear little pockets of things happening around the country. I don't think anything major is going to jump off, because I think there's too many good people out there that are going to basically say, "Hey, wait a minute, this is going too far," or "No, we're not going to allow this to happen." And they're going to be the bigger person in the room, if you will, for people that might be trying to get out and do something stupid.
Well, I certainly hope so, because I didn't go get any guns.
Well, I know I got my Civil War outfit ready.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You got what? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I have my. Oh, is my microphone?
I don't know. Is it?
I could hear. Just speak. I couldn't hear a little bit.
Oh, I said I have my Civil War outfit ready.
You have your musket.
Yes, and then just in case it gets really, really bad, I have my Handmaid's Tale outfit with my wings, and then also my red cloak.
Yeah, that's the one I have ready.
Glory be.
Under his eye.
Said good weather.
Under his eye.
Under his eye, yes.
That's the one I have ready, because that's what I'm. That pharmaceutical company is the same name as the town from that damn
Gilead,
show.
yes.
Which one? Pfizer?
You haven't seen Handmaid's Tale? Okay, no. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that show, Mahliik?
Which one?
Well, I doubt that you've
The
seen it.
Handmaid's Tale.
It's about a dystopian society in which women are kind of pointless except for to procreate with by force?
Well, they're considered property of the state.
Okay.
Like they're property of the government, pretty much.
And this is the show?
Yes.
It's a book by Margaret Atwood, who's a Canadian author. It was written in the 70s, actually.
She's just a visionary.
It's a great book, and she's a Canadian.
She's just letting us know.
And it's very interesting. Thank you for bringing this up because I love this show. And it talks about women in this dystopian society where fertility is in jeopardy. So the women who are able to have children successfully, they are kind of linked to families of means, and they're forced to
where the wives are not able to to reproduce.
And they're forced to have a monthly ritual when they're ovulating.
Sex by force.
When being held down by the wife.
Yeah, the wife sits behind the
the handmaid
holds her arms down while the husband does his business.
On her.
You know, the first time I heard of this was, I'm sorry, DK, were you saying that?
No, they did that on another show.
Really?
Gross.
It was consensual. What she did with her mother, it was that dysfunctional. The show.
Oh no.
Oh, that sounds horrible. What show is that?
Oh, shit, my microphone.
No.
The microphone said no.
No, we can have this.
The microphone trying to quit.
No, okay. So.
That sounds terrible. But I was gonna say that I was a little girl, and I Girl, no, I was just gonna say that movie with what is her damn name? Lynn Redgrave's daughter, or Vanessa Redgrave's daughter. What's her name? Natasha, whatever her name is. The one that died by running into that tree skiing.
I have no idea.
Sonny.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Sonny Bono's?
No.
He's the only guy
her name was Natasha. Anyway, they made that movie.
I have no idea.
It was on. Okay, I don't know what's going on right here, but they made that movie. Like this is like in the 80s, and I remember like, why is she wearing red? Faye Dunaway was the commander's wife.
Oh, in the original Handmaid's Tale
movie.
Yes, it was a movie. Yes,
and I was like probably 12 years old. I was always watching something I had no business watching. And I was like, what the hell is this? But I will never forget it because it really stuck with me because I was like scared.
It's a scary thought. I mean, but the scariest part is that it could happen. That's the scary part. Is if you watch the show, the scariest part is that it could happen. And the part that really, I don't know, have you seen it, Jen?
A couple episodes.
Okay, the part that really got to me was when they were protesting in the streets, right? Everybody knows I love a good protest. I love a good march on Washington. Yeah. I'll be there. Just send me the invite.
I know. I'm like, Nicole, take my t-shirt up there.
Which is really cool because I actually did when I went to do Women's March on Washington. I got on the airplane and I mean, it was a huge portion of the people were headed to the March on Washington. And you could just tell, and the energy was so great because they were just ready. And of course, I got on the airplane almost late, almost missed the flight, but we're not going to talk about that because, you know, it might be a habit. And so I
stay at the airport on top of that.
Right, at the airport, I'm always about to miss a flight. Always about to miss a flight. So I got on the airplane and they were there. It was just, it felt really, really good because you could just, the plane was full and the energy was just that. And the flight attendant got on the PA system and she said, how many people are going to the Women's March? And everyone just like, whoa! I was like, that's me. Right? But it was a good feeling, right? Yeah. And just when I got there, it was even just so great. And I remember the next day after I marched and I was actually getting ready to leave, my dad calls me. He's like, are you in Washington?
All right, so I have some bad news.
Oh, no. What is it?
Mitch McConnell will be Senate leader majority in Kentucky again.
Yeah, so we were talking about that. Diane, you want to chime in on that? Diane's going to chime in that we're actually talking about it.
Here, you can sit right here. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, she's going to talk about Mitch.
I don't. Okay.
Okay.
I only have inappropriate things to say, so
Okay,
I
let's talk
probably
about Mitch
shouldn't.
McConnell though, like legit. Okay, because that's something that I know I probably say inappropriate things and I don't care. But Mitch McConnell, every time I see him, I just think about a turkey going gobble, 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 gobble. And I know that's wrong. But he looks like a turkey.
Yeah.
And he's a jive turkey because
He definitely is.
He's full of crap. He disgusts me. He disgusts me before Donald Trump got into office, but since Donald Trump has been in office, he's just made it even worse.
Yeah, he's a con man. He'll tell you anything to get elected. He'll tell you anything to convince you of his side of the story. This was the guy that when Obama was first elected, done nothing wrong, hadn't had an opportunity to do anything yet. All he talked about was everyone having the Affordable Health Care Act implemented. And he said, my job is to make him a one-term president. I mean,
that's his exact words.
That right there kind of told me the type of person he was, that, you're not even willing to say, I'm going to try to work with this guy.
Yeah.
When
He's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Completely.
I mean, the thing about the Supreme Court justice and how they were like, oh no, no, that was Lindsey Graham, but a 6 one way, half a dozen the other, just as bad. Everything that they did to block the nomination. Was it Merrick Garland, right? That was the person. Merrick Garland was the person that Obama was nominating, and they did everything they could to block
for months.
Gave every excuse.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was definitely months before the election.
It was like nine.
Months before.
Yeah, and now we did this in what was 6 weeks before.
Yeah,
but she has no. She has
years.
her. Have you seen her resume?
It's disgusting.
She hasn't even tried a real case, has she? I mean, she's terrible. So.
Like I think they were all settled.
So
and she has no trial experience at all.
Right. So I have to be honest. I do not know enough about Amy to make an intelligent decision about her.
There's nothing to know about Amy. Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing to know. Even if you knew everything about her, it still isn't enough because she doesn't have any experience.
And that's the main point. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So she's not fit for the job. But you know what I always say? White woman. Yeah. So white people typically get jobs based on potential, and we get jobs based on experience. So we have to do something twice as good, work twice as hard, and they get the job because they seem like they're going to do well. Or they'll do what they want, or whoever they is.
In this situation, we have to prove. She got the job based on what Trump thought that he could get out of her, based on what happens in the election, and also based on the Supreme Court, the fact that he's going to take a lot of things to the Supreme Court. He's trying not to go to prison.
She fit the litmus
but she's completely
test.
Unqualified.
Right. She fit the litmus test for a Trump
yes.
party member. She basically would follow pretty much anywhere he wanted her to go. And his what are they called? His what are they called when they the people who vetted her were the ones that went out and said, oh, you know what? She is exactly what Trump is looking for on the Supreme Court.
Because she has I'm sorry, I don't want to use the term because she does have an education, but that doesn't mean anything. She's basic. I'm sorry, she's basic.
Yeah.
Like she is if you looked up basic in the dictionary, Amy, okay, that's her, right? Because she has no experience, none at all. And she can cookie cutter, they can take her and mold her to what they want to be. Because there's no way anybody with 3 years, let's not even talk about the other federal appointments, the 200 other federal appointments that he's made since he's been in office. 200.
Has he made any good appointments?
No.
Period. Even anybody he's put in any position.
No.
I mean, the Department of Education, Department of Housing. I mean, it's all trash.
I was going to say, isn't that Ben Carson, who's
he needed to stick to healthcare.
No, I'm sorry. I wouldn't want him operating on my brain.
No. Well,
no, sorry.
Well, he doesn't need to. I mean, his whole mentality is all messed up. It's that black Republican.
No, he's just not the sharpest knife in the drawer. That's all that is.
Do you think it takes a slow person to be a black Republican?
Well, that's the thing.
Sorry.
We have a perfect example, but I'm not gonna.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
No, I was just saying. It's kind of Trump has essentially put people in positions of power that have zero experience in that area. Ben Carson has zero urban development experience.
None.
The lady in education has zero experience.
What's her name? I
Betsy
try not to.
DeVos.
Oh, Betsy.
DeVos.
Yeah. Oh, she's.
What's the guy at the EPA? Zero environmental protection agency experience.
But the whole reason why he's at the EPA is not because of his
is to
experience, it's for him
relinquish
to
the
allow them
legislation
to reverse everything Obama put in place.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, not only that, so that he can help the big corporations get through the
Exactly.
loopholes of having to keep our environment clean.
I mean,
It's like putting a child molester in charge of a daycare. Like
exactly.
Exactly.
He's put people in place that he can get anything he wants, but it always, I mean,
True.
it's
Facts.
detrimental.
It's a fact.
Right.
It's detrimental to
the
the.
analogy I wasn't ready for, but yes,
Yeah, it's a perfect analogy.
But that is how he operates, though. He
Yes.
doesn't have the experience,
Right.
and he's fake doing it or ruining it or whatever. So he's like, let me just pick people who I like it's just like that. It's like if you started a band in high school and you had a bunch of friends and you were like, I know y'all don't play instruments, but let's have a band. It's like that.
Okay, so I'm going to have the question that's the topic of conversation tonight. And I'm going to let DK. I'm going to let DK chime in first. And the question is, could you date someone with a different political affiliation than you? Could you?
How do y'all not already know the answer? Absolutely not. I mean, okay, so, and I actually made a whole post about this because last week I almost lost my job because I went to, I had an appointment I had an appointment with a family in the Woodlands. I mean, in the back of Conroe, beautiful neighborhood. The wife was a Democrat and the husband was a Republican. But I didn't realize that. I thought they were both Democrats. They came from California, from Oakland. And, so we're talking and she says she hasn't really assimilated because there's all these Trump signs. And she's like, yeah, he's fit in better. But I didn't catch on that he's a Republican. So he's talking about, so he talks about, it was the day after the last debate. And he says, yeah. Biden is going to get rid of petroleum. She said, no, he said he's going to phase it out. Don't you remember him saying that? She just kept fact checking him over and over. Well, then he tells me something about voting for Trump. And I said, I would never vote for Trump in that $500 billion plan. He said, after all the things Trump has done for the blacks. Thank you. To me, sitting at the table.
First of all,
he picked the wrong one. Y'all already know.
Yes. Oh no.
So I said it, and then he says, before I can even say something, he says, yeah, no. I said, oh, really? I said, tell me exactly what he's done for the blacks, me, people like me. And he goes, oh, the HBCUs came with their hands open, groveling for money, and Trump gave it to them. And I said, oh, really? I said, did you know Obama gave $4 billion to HBCUs? No, I didn't know that. And I said, of course not, because you don't know what's going on in the black community. Period. And then he says, I'm from Oakland. That's when he starts with this Oakland foolishness. And I said, well, if you're from Oakland, then you should know not to call me the blacks. I said, do people say, oh, look at y'all, the whites?
Right.
And he kind of, and he paused. And I was like, so anyway, of course he's trying with this foolishness. I said, what else? He even let people out of prison. And I said, well, actually, did you know Obama released 1,900? And I said, I think it's maybe 38 to be exact. I don't know the exact number. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. And I said, so tell me what he's done more than any other president for me, the blacks.
Right.
And I mean, this and that. I'm from Oakland. Now I'm on my job at this point. And I'm just like, what excuse? I'm going to be like, look, he called me the blacks and I just lost it. So he gets mad and he storms off and this is what he says. He said, I'm not like these hillbillies here, because remember, they're from Oakland. Yeah. So they're from the West Coast. I'm not like these hillbillies here. And I said, well, you stand with them. Okay. As he walked off. Well, no, you can't.
Something tells me
what he said?
I'm not like these hillbillies, but he has all of his teeth. Is that the
He has all of his teeth, so he's not like these hillbillies. But that's who you stand with. Right, you stand with the people that want to enslave me, that want to kill me because of my skin color, that want to pay me less, that want to do all of these things. So don't tell me about all these black friends you had or all these black people you were around, because you lost all of that clearly. because you
Right.
stand with those hillbillies. So he stormed off, and she said, oh my God, he storms off on me all the time. I'm so sorry. I've been fighting with him for 4 years. So I said all of that to say that would not be me. I would have left my husband. First of all, I would have never married a Black Republican, because their thought process is messed up. It's like a Stockholm syndrome. They want to stand with the people who hate them because they think it's going to give them a financial come up or some kind of status. But I grew up Caribbean, and in the Caribbean, we love our culture. We love who we are. We did not have all those years of slavery breaking our mentality. And that's what I said. Nobody told me something was wrong with me because I'm Black. And that's why I intentionally, I live in the hood, because my kids will not grow up with other races telling them something's wrong with them because of their skin color. And I have not had that issue.
Okay, so I have the completely different end of the spectrum. Okay, completely different. Like, okay, I was not raised in a partisan household, but it has come to light that my dad is a Republican.
Ooh, which one? The one I know?
Yeah.
What?
No, my stepdad. Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, he actually is a Trump supporter.
He saw the error in his ways.
Oh, he did.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we will
Why
give him.
we're dealing with this now?
Right.
So Joe Biden.
Okay, but if he's part of the solution, we're okay. We'll forgive him. He's a nice man.
So that was to be expected.
What? As far as what?
Joe Biden took New York.
Good.
Woo!
Yes. How many electoral college votes are in New York?
Yeah, so it's 73 electoral to 42. 73 Joe Biden, 42.
Okay, I can take that. I can live with that. Woo! Hallelujah.
My youngest daughter wants to say hello.
Hello. Does she want to chime in on what her thoughts are on the election?
I'm scared. I don't want my rights taken away.
Amen. Amen, young lady.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be old to figure that out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she's a little more outspoken than that, but yeah.
I love it.
Love it. Yes. My sister is like that with her children. She's like, their voices will not be silent. Like her girls, she's very adamant about them saying, respectfully, right, how they feel about stuff, because their voices will not be silent. So thank you very, very much.
Bye-bye.
Because she's gone.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, she is aware of things that are going on around her. She asks a lot of questions. I do encourage her not to engage in political discussion with her peers just because they don't know enough about it to have intelligent conversation. I said most of the time they're just regurgitating what their parents are saying.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Like my niece actually, she regurgitated something that she learned in school, and my sister had to immediately shut it down. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, who did that child learn that from? Because it was about the coronavirus. Oh, and it was heartbreaking because she comes home and she tells my sister, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, that she doesn't like Chinese people because they're the reason why the virus is here. And of course she learned that from school. Right. And my sister shut it down immediately. It was like, no, that is not true. We do not do that. That is not how, you have to educate you have to correct them in real time, immediately let them know.
Like I said.
Yeah, you have to let them know. And I was like, she got that from somebody at school because I said, where did you learn that? And she said, somebody at school told her that. And of course, imagine if she didn't come home and say that. Imagine if that would have been that in the back of her head, and it would have grown and festered and then manifested. You don't know.
That's exactly what I mean. But think about what they say about us as Black people too, that she's not repeating. So again,
no, she would definitely.
That's why. That. Okay. Like, but it might be little.
But they are probably also not repeating it. So the children are hearing it, and then they're not sharing it with their Black friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But they're thinking that about
they grow
them.
older, because this is my reality. Because I grew up in a supremely white neighborhood. All my friends are white.
I grew up in Canada. Can't get much more white than that. But the racism wasn't as heavy.
You can get
the racism wasn't as heavy.
My dad had a friend at the gas station that was a Klan member.
Okay, so I have an update.
The man said,
I'm sorry, we didn't hear you.
South Dakota just went to Trump.
Of course, it's South Dakota.
There are no Black people over there.
How many votes were in that?
Huh?
How many votes were in South Dakota?
Oh, I have to look.
I think it's like 4.
I haven't memorized any of that, so
I think they have like 4.
We can look that.
Yeah,
but it's okay. I think they have 4 because it's more land than people.
Right. Yeah. There's more people sitting probably in your city than in that state.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. So yeah, that one is. I already. So in my mind, I already gave the Dakotas to Trump. The Dakotas he's getting. I don't know about Iowa. Iowa's kind of on the fence. Nevada may go to him simply because Nevada, they were all pro open up the government so we can start making our money because the company has lost a lot of money.
But that's a smaller percentage, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, no.
Of the people who want, because they have
They
their
require,
jobs.
yeah, exactly. It's the money behind the casino.
That's greed. How do you vote based on greed?
But people don't care about
lack
that.
of morals.
They don't. It's not about the fellow men. It's about money in Nevada. So Florida, of course, once again, do we really need Florida? As a nation, do we really need Florida?
You know, the Bugs Bunny sawing it off.
I want to saw Florida, push it off into the ocean, replace it with Puerto Rico, and I'm okay with that. So I really
Puerto Rico's a little.
No, I think we can do
Okay, so South Dakota, you were right, is 3 electoral votes.
How many?
3.
In the Dakota?
South Dakota.
Yes, I said 4. I was overshooting it. I overshot it by 1.
Yeah, actually, both of the Dakotas are 3 electoral.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's that. I mean, I only take this 1 point to win, but still, I still just. How many are in New York? Because Biden
73, I thought he said.
No, it was up 73.
Oh, 73 to 40. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
How many are in New York?
I'm sorry?
How many are in New York?
New York is 29.
Ooh, that's nice. That's lovely.
Oh, 20. Oh,
29.
You got those?
Oh,
yeah,
29
got
votes.
those.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what are the numbers?
So as of right
70?
now, the electoral vote goes to Joe Biden at 119, Donald Trump 92.
Oh, that's still
Where?
close. 119 to
119 to 92. Looks like Donald Trump.
Have they called Florida though yet? Have they called Florida yet?
They have not called Florida. So
Florida's always last.
Yeah.
Because they're always trying to cheat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hanging Chad. That's all I gotta say. It's Hanging Chad 2000, Bush and
Gore.
Yes.
Al Gore.
Hanging Chad.
So Wyoming, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, and South Carolina have all gone for Trump.
Which makes sense.
That's
That's par for the course for any Republican. New Mexico, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia have all gone for Biden.
This is my thing. Okay, and this is heartbreaking. And I was thinking about this today on my way to work. It is heartbreaking that this is even
that close?
A thing. Yes, that is this close. That it's even a thing. Like, how is this even a thing?
Absolutely.
Like,
so
that lets you know. I'm sorry, that lets you know where America is. That is the heart of America. I don't care what anyone says. This.
So Miss Shelby and I were having this discussion before everyone jumped in, and I was telling her that they were talking about the issues that were important to Trump supporters versus Biden supporters. And on the Biden supporter side, it was the coronavirus. It was racial injustice. It was
humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
But many other things.
Right.
And on Trump's side, you know what the number one thing was? The economy. Racial injustice, coronavirus were 2% and 4% as a total of the individuals that were polled for that's what's the importance to them. So you have people that are just looking at making money, and you're looking at other people that are saying, hey, we need to make life better.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to take a moment to call BS on that. You know why? I'm sorry. I know this. Is this a family audience?
Is it me?
Okay, I'm going to call BS on that. I'm just going to be as politically correct as possible. Okay, all right, because I'm just saying, because I don't know who's all like tuning in, so I'm going to be really as politically correct as possible.
Manny, probably.
Right, Manny, right. Hey, Manny. Okay. If the economy was what you were really truly concerned about,
yes.
I'm sorry, my stocks aren't doing that great, and my portfolio is pretty broad. So no, I don't. I call BS on that. And if you're really truly worried about the economy, you would want somebody who was trying to control the virus so the economy could get back to where it needed to be. I call absolute 100% BS on that.
Well,
Trump hates who they hate.
Yeah.
Who is
And
they?
His supporters.
His supporters.
Oh yeah, because he's fake as fuck.
No, he hates who they hate, and that makes them feel good.
Remember, he
That's
said, and I don't know how true this is, but remember he supposedly said that he would only run as a Republican because they Willie Foo Foo.
Yeah. Yeah, he said they're dumb, they're too stupid to know the difference.
Really nice voice.
They're dumb. Yeah, I mean, so the fact that, and I once again, like I said the last time when we had the discussion, we talked about it. The dumbing down of America, it's been purposeful. It's been very intentional. It's been extremely effective. America has been so sufficiently dumbed down that it's easy to pull the okie doke. Yeah, it's easy to pull the okie doke. So I'm sorry, I just can't. They say it's the economy. That's BS.
It's not the economy. It is absolutely their love of whiteness.
Well,
I'm sorry.
They're becoming powerless or the minority.
Yes,
it is very much so. So
it's not going to stop them, though. They can do that all they want. They're on the decline with that mentality. But a lot of things, they're dinosaurs.
So what do you think the whole? Okay, and I'm pro-choice, regardless of how anybody else feels about it. I think that it is everybody's personal.
I'm pro-choice, but it's not my choice.
Right. But I believe in everyone's right to be able to choose how they take care of their body. Right.
Absolutely.
Something like, well, if there's your choice of you're going to more than likely die, or your child's going to more likely have a very painful
or whatever the fuck
whatever it is,
whether
medical reasons or not, whatever it is, that is not my thing. That is your choice to make.
Right.
One of the reasons why the Republican Party is so very much so pro-life is because of the rate of terminations by race. There's a higher percentage of non-brown people terminating.
I think it's the actual numbers that are higher.
But I absolutely know more white women who's nuts to have an abortion.
But that's what I'm telling you.
A little bit.
That's the thing.
They're gonna do it anyway. Yeah.
No, but the thing is they're doing it, and so it's increasing the speed of which one race will become the minority.
Right. Got it. Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
So that's
they want us dead anyway. They wouldn't care if it was just a black issue. They would never.
Yeah,
care.
Exactly. So that's why. That's one of the. And so when they talk about how he's pro-choice, there's a reasoning behind that. So to me, that's a dog whistle.
So, let me just say something real quick. I was actually searching for something when you guys were talking. I was listening, but I had to search for something because I actually found this very funny and interesting. So you were talking about the fact that you were pro-choice, but who am I to make a decision or determination what you can and cannot do with your body? We all have our own personal beliefs, but I'm not going to allow mine to infringe upon you.
Correct. Yes.
So this person wrote, "Stop abortion at the source. Vasectomies are reversible. Make every young man have one. When he's deemed financially and emotionally fit to be a father, it will be reversed." Like that. Did the idea of regulating a man's body just make you uncomfortable? Your own fucking business then.
Yeah, that was like what, last week? I think that was going around.
Yes.
Yeah. So I actually found that very interesting because too often we have people. So again, when you think of the premise of the Republican Party and their platform, one of the things is smaller government, but yet here they are telling you how you should be
hypocrites
eating and doing with your body. And then at that, it's not even just the party; it's the fact that it's a whole bunch of old white guys. And not the color actually makes a difference, but it's the fact that it's men telling women how to do things with their body. Period.
But beyond that, then they don't want to pay a penny of their hard-earned dollars to feed those children that people didn't want. So they're just hypocrites. That's number one. And number two, they'll also go, what's the guy in Tennessee, the representative in Tennessee that paid for his girlfriend to get an abortion, Mr. Pro-life, paid for his girlfriend to get an abortion so his wife wouldn't find out. Nothing but hypocrites. And I cannot stand with a party. They tell you, don't do this, and they live even worse than that. They are vile. They're hypocrites, they're liars, they're racist, they're narcissists, whatever it is, they're all these things.
I like how they throw out the fact that the Democratic Party was the party of racists. And I was like, I said, if you really know the history of that, you understand that once the Civil War was getting started and Lincoln was going to lose the popular vote, most of them traded and said, hey, you know, I think we'll be Republicans now.
Well, you know, I find it so funny. That's the only time they want to talk about that time period.
That's the only
right,
time. Exactly.
Right.
The only time they want to talk about the time period.
Democrats were racist.
It's like, okay, but also Black people were slaves.
Right.
So everybody was doing something different. Because I do what I want to do, allegedly. But like, that is so stupid.
Well, according to history, the rewriting, the whitewashing, and the white explaining, we chose to be slaves. Remember
Well, that's what Kanye.
As far as what Kanye West, or
no, there's some book that they rewrote it and they put it in the book that they tried to change it, that we willingly became slaves.
I doubt that, seriously.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a better experience for us in a few hundred years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, that's
doubtful. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I think I saw something today, a meme that was like, it's not funny, but it's a shame that we're about to have another civil war over the same issue.
History repeating itself.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's not enough of them to win. There's even less of them than before.
No, they would never win, I don't think. Yeah. But I definitely think that you would see some.
It's not even enough to call it a civil war. It's just going to be some crazy racists getting put in jail by the military. They need to be shot down. They need to be treated like Black folks.
But the thing is that we really have no idea what kind of, because they have some intelligence, maybe not the ones that we see, but there's a puppet master somewhere.
Yeah, but it's still a minority. You don't think?
What, the person telling them what to do?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, they're a minority.
They're a minority as a whole. I just think because I don't know. That's just my thought. I think we would.
But have you ever
even further back if that wasn't the case?
I just feel like the strength that comes out of the trailer park, it's like something I've never seen before.
All right, so Joe Biden just collected Colorado.
They have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear
I'm getting tipsy from this
like,
drink.
We'll enslave you, or y'all want our property. I'm like, we don't want your trash.
First of all, you don't even you have nothing. You have less than we do.
How you gonna manage slaves? You can't manage yourself.
I thought this morning, I was like, so they really have like signs in front of the trailers?
Yeah.
Like, there's not even enough yard to be like, this is mine. And you don't own it. Sorry.
So Biden took Colorado.
Oh. Biden took Colorado?
Yeah.
I feel like my thingy isn't updating.
Yeah, I'm using 3 different sources right now.
Okay. You're doing it the right way.
Look, I'm trying to take it all in from different sources just to make sure.
So, Mahliik, can you tell me, because I don't really know, what is the importance of that Iowa caucus?
The Iowa caucus? To be honest, I don't know enough about it to even sit here and have a good discussion. I just remember that when they were starting to do the Electoral College and putting people in place to advocate for the next president, that was one of the things that they talked about, was that it's got to go to Iowa, and that's where everything runs through, is through Iowa. And that's all I know. I never really learned anything past that.
It's just so interesting, like all the different things that they big up on the news, like the Iowa caucus. Like, it makes you think, like, is Jesus going to be there? Like, what is the big deal?
Okay. Yeah, there's so much information. Remember, we talked about how it's $1 trillion industry.
Mm-hmm.
So much that goes into politics that we don't even know that's behind the scenes and how it all works. That, you hear stuff like Iowa caucus so often that you just, okay, whatever that might be, and you just keep rolling. But it has everything to do with, when the president or potential candidate gets ready to start his presidential nomination, they go through everything is through Iowa. It's like, that's the litmus test of, can this guy be presidential? Can he pass the Iowa caucus in order to become president?
What do you think the requirements are to be a president? Like, if you had a list.
Well, we have to go back. So think of this. when you had the Federalists, you had the Whig Party, you had the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, and so forth. Uh, those guys were regular business owners, and they were dentists or attorneys or whatever they were. And they came in and they became the governor, or they became some sort of got some political power, and then became the president. And in their drive to becoming that president, they understood that I was of the people. And so a couple things that you had to at least be of the people. You couldn't be some farmer out in the middle of nowhere that nobody knew anything about and just came in and said, hey, I just want to run the country. You had to be directly involved with the people. So I would want, and today we call that a community activist. So I would want somebody, in my opinion, I want somebody that's involved in the community, that kind of knows what's going on, and not just in his community or her community, but in other communities. Because like your guy was talking about, oh, I'm from Oakland. Well, they're not the same people from New York or from Georgia or in Texas. You know, there's variations of us around the country. So the next thing is, I'd like the person to be kind of intelligent, to kind of know what they're talking about. Is there an IQ test on that? No, but I'd at least like them to be able to pass a basic civics test. And I don't think Trump even knows or understands the basics of citizenship and civics, the separations of power between the three branches of government. I don't think he could adequately explain that. So I would say that they at least be able to pass a basic civics test, and most of them would and could do it. And then after that, just be the person that understands that you're there for the people. You know, like I said, I can't express that enough, because at the end of the day, we're all people. And you have to be an individual that understands that I may not be a woman, I may not be black, I may not be young anymore, I may not live in the city, or I might not live in a farm, but I at least hear these people, and I want to try to help better their lives in the way that they best understand. Because, you know, I don't know what it's like to live in Houston and live around a whole bunch of oil rigs and things of that sort, nor do you know what it's probably like to live out here where I am, where it's a whole bunch of cattle, and I'm out here in the sticks. But there's a lot of city folks out here. But again, as long as the person that's in power understands that they represent the person, the people. And that's what we have to have. And unfortunately, we've just been going into this case where we're just finding billionaires, millionaires, and that's all they want to do is run the country. And I get it. Money and power go hand in hand together. But at some point, you have to have people that say, hey, you know what? I just want to do the good for our country and my community. And what, is everything all right?
You know, I want to
I
add.
guess he just has to say. I think something just happened because we're getting some same action over here.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, it just came back over here because I was like, because my computer just blanked off.
I don't know what's going on. I guess she'll come tell us. But I guess my question then is, do you think that Donald Trump is the idiot, or the constituents are the idiots? And then, like you said, he was following behind them.
Well, he is essentially the village idiot. So, you know, and all you need is just one idiot, and then the other idiots to know that that idiot's in power, and they'll all follow. So, you know, I can't blame the people that don't have the same upbringing that he had. You know, he had a life of privilege. You know, he was in all the best circles, and most of the people that follow him would never see even 10% of that. But
I'm back. I'm sorry,
welcome back.
Yes, we did. So we would like to know what is going on.
Okay. So Martha McSally looked like she's winning. Like more. I expected better in the Senate race. And we're not getting better. Currently, we're at 40 to 37. We need 3 Democrats to win in order to take the Senate. And I don't know. That looks like it's real questionable right now. I'm just a little disappointed. Of course, Arkansas stayed red. Some of their like your obvious like red states stayed red, but I just don't understand it. I don't understand the logic. Like, How do people? I think it is so. It's such a mind fuck that people vote against their own interest. Like I don't get it. Like how delusional do you have to be to consistently vote against your own interest? Like how?
But they're not voting against their own interests in some of those states.
But they don't. But the thing is they don't know that they're not. When I'm talking about voting against your own interest, a lot of these places, like they're rural. They don't have a lot of money or resources. You're requiring on a good environment in order for you to make money. Farmers, they need non-acid rain in order for their crops to grow. Like you need a good EPA chief. You need people that are actually doing the things that you need them to do in order for you to succeed.
They're worker bees, and like you said, they're dumbed down. They don't know any better.
What is it that what they're pumping into their heads?
It's whiteness, Nicole.
I don't get it. It's just, I don't get it.
I mean, it's literally
absolute. Yeah. It defies all logic.
It does.
They have to
it is like you said, or whoever, I don't remember who said it, but it is that desire to cling to what has always been. Yeah. I am here, and this person is talking about keeping me here. And I'm scared to lose my position of whiteness.
So there was this quote, and I forget who said it, and I've seen it a million times and forget me. I'm going to paraphrase because obviously I'm just, had a couple of sips, because I'm stressed out,
That glass is gone.
All right, I know this is like the second go around in my essential glass, essential AF. Right.
These drinks are really good. I just want y'all to know. And I'm about to partake of the fish so I can give everybody a review.
Thank you very much.
Are we having those questions still submitted to us?
Which ones?
I guess the people that were offline at
no, this person said, "Hey, what's up, fam?"
I was getting something down here, but
let's talk about like convincing people in order to you can persuade anyone to do something against their own interests as long as you convince them that they are better than someone else.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Anyone, as long as you convince them that this is going to keep them better than someone else. And I forget the exact quote or whatever.
I saw a deck of hypnosis cards for sale on Facebook today, where you can mind control people. I guess from remember that? Yeah, but it was $8.70.
Okay.
I did not buy it.
Right, so
everyone is safe.
Did you ask Jen the general question of the day?
No.
Jen,
no?
Here, come towards the microphone so that you can speak. You don't want to?
I'm just spectating.
No,
you don't want to be on
It's a great question.
Answer one question.
It's not anything super political. It's just more like, well, I'm going to ask you the question anyway.
Yes, speak into the microphone, girl.
You can take it off of there if you want to.
It's okay.
Okay.
Where it is.
Would you be able to date a person with opposing political views
and or married?
I feel like we asked the question differently, but it's the same.
Did ask that question.
But did you
answer? But it was your turn.
It's the question of the day. It's the question of the day.
But make sure you can hear you in the microphone.
No.
Okay, I will relay. Okay, she says no, she cannot.
For the same reason that Diane kind of was pointing out in her story, because who wants to live in a household that's basically divided, you know, and you're always arguing about your point of views, and these are some really big issues, you know. So to be married to somebody, for example, that supported Donald Trump, that means you don't support me or any of the things that I want or my views. So how could you be married to somebody like that? That doesn't make sense to me.
It's
excellent answer.
It's a bother to me, I think, for people overall to support this mindset.
Yes, very much so.
And first of all, he's an idiot. If my 7-year-old daughter can glean that from just YouTube, because I don't really talk about that, you know. But if she sees him, she'll be like, stupid Donald Trump. So she's probably first tired of looking at him. But when I did have on the debate one time, she was like, he is such an idiot. And I'm like, you're 7 and you're gathering.
Maybe her teacher said that. Right. She was like, I agree.
I doubt that. The lady was like, let's talk about citizenship.
So Brad, where he's calls him the McDonald Trump. Have you seen Brad, the new Brad movie?
There's a new one?
My coworker was telling me about it. but he calls him the McDonald Trump.
Wow, that's respectful. I like it.
I can get with it because that's what he eats. He loves Big Macs. And
does he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? He likes to go to drive-through, like fast food drive-through windows, because they don't know he's coming, so he knows that they're not going to poison his food.
I mean, if you were the president and the most hated probably man in America, I would be like, I will only surprise pop up on y'all ass too.
Yeah.
But if you weren't so hateful, you wouldn't have to live like that.
Your food.
Exactly.
Like he, and that's the thing, is he doesn't really care about the others either.
But do you think he even cares about himself? But it's like his response to COVID when he got the China virus, as he calls it.
I just have to roll my eyes as you talk.
That's what he calls it, the China virus. What do you think about that? Wait, okay, so you have a question. We have a question.
Polinia says, which this is a new person, so hallelujah.
Hi,
we are stretching our reach.
Thank you for tuning in.
She says, I don't think dating someone with a different political view should be an issue as long as we respect each other's opinions and point of view. I don't think it should be an issue at all. She said, I'm gonna get digged out. I don't care.
It's one thing to date somebody, it's one thing to be married to them.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
You know, like married is way different than you just,
But because married is like a different type of dick down, though. Is that what you're saying, Michelle? Like it's a different.
I mean, would I know? Because I ain't never been married.
Right, it's a room full of single, never been married ladies.
Right.
So, yeah.
Single, never been
Maybe
married,
that's
like,
why. Maybe we need to expand and be like, you
And
know
they
what?
have
It's okay.
I will go get some cats first.
I already have one.
Right. So
Yeah,
to
like
ask that question.
Like she does this story about we're gonna show about how she got the cat. Okay.
You're like,
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Mahliik? Sorry.
No, there was a question about dating someone of another political affiliation, and
Yes.
remember James Carville, his wife, Mary Madeline. You know, she's a staunch Republican and he's a staunch Democrat. James Carville was in the Clinton era administration.
Well,
and his wife is, he was the one that's always on CNN that you see a lot, the old
Yes.
guy with the bald head.
mhm.
His wife is a staunch Republican, but they make it work, and they've been married for over 50 years.
Yeah, but this is my thing. Once again, I think I've discussed this. James Carville is
The exception rather than the rule.
his life doesn't ride on that. Like he's okay. Like I don't know if you guys know who James Carville is. Okay, like he's okay. He can do that and still not have to work over his shoulder.
let me look him up first. But also, I think if you don't talk about it with your partner, it would have to be like, you know how you operate with your friends that you know are not, like you would just not be able to bring it up. Because I can't imagine like getting cozy in the bed at night and being like, I just wonder, you know, if the candidate you're going to vote for is going to bring back slavery or not. Love you. You know.
Let's just go ahead and snatch that Emancipation Proclamation like it never happened.
Let's just go ahead and flush that Roe v. Wade. It's just, I'm like,
Brown versus Board of
That's
Education.
terrible.
Who needs that? Yeah, let's just.
Hey, I don't want to go to virtual school any damn way. You know.
Yeah, no, I couldn't honestly, and like I said, I don't know if this is a family, audience or not. So I'm just trying to really censor the things that I say.
You don't have to do that.
But I just couldn't do it. I'm not going to let you sling that oppressive street meat to me. You're just not going to be able to do that. I'm sorry.
I couldn't leave the TV on Fox News all day. First
Yeah,
of
I
all,
couldn't do
let's
it.
start there.
Yeah, so I just couldn't do it. It just wouldn't be something that you're not looking out for my best interests.
In a perfect world, you could discuss your differences and have no problem, but these things really affect your well-being and your future.
Right.
So, I mean, it goes beyond just saying, oh, you think this and I think that.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's not like, cheddar or American or, that. These are completely different things that even if you vote, not even talking about the presidential election, let's just flush that. When you're talking about your local, state and local elections, when you're electing a judge, right? For instance, my dad, who is a Republican, but he's a Republican because he is a cop. He's a former Marine. He believes in law and order. right? So that we think about that.
James is a former Marine.
James Pardo.
So that's his mindset, right? And when we talk about it, he's like, I would never vote for. I do not like liberal judges. And his mindset, and I think about this, and I'm being really kind of objective. His mindset as a law enforcement officer, he sees some of the ugliest of humanity. He sees some of the ugliest things. He's seen, men who have beat on women and go get locked up and then get bail and go back and kill those same women. So when he talks to me about those kind of things, because those are the things that he sees and experiences, it's hard for him to then say, I want to get a judge that lets them walk, because he sees it all the time. For a living, that's what he sees. So when I take an opportunity and I think about that, yes, if that's your reality, then of course you're going to vote to keep those people locked up, because you're in your mind, I'm protecting. What if my daughter was dating a man who did this to her? I wouldn't want him to get in front of a liberal judge and that judge let him go so he can go back out and kill my daughter. So when it comes to when you take off your hat and put on their hat, it's one thing. Do I agree with the whole of all of it? Absolutely not. That's not enough reason for me to vote red.
Okay, well, I'm going to call BS on that, just like you called BS on people voting for the economy. Because, okay, for example, when those 18 Democratic judges took over, 2 of the Republican judges that were in office, they were responsible for over half of the Black kids going into juvenile detention. So what they were doing, every Black kid they saw was getting a record.
Right.
But but the white kids that were doing the same thing repeatedly were getting off and getting community service. So all they're doing is pipelining us. They're making sure they're still letting people off. Look at the guy in Florida that killed the people fishing. He had 128 charges against him. They're letting them out. They're not letting us out. So my thing is, the Republican judges, it's all BS. All they're doing is pipelining us. So I hear what your dad's saying, but they're not doing that to their own. They're too rich to be in jail. They have affluenza and all this foolishness.
I would know.
So it's straight BS.
Once again, like I said, when I told, I can see where he's coming from. Do I agree with it? Do I let him off with that? Absolutely not.
Bull.
Absolutely not. Because once again, when I ran Brenda's
but let's pull up the records.
Right.
But I'm saying he's saying that without actually looking at the records.
He's only, once again, but he's speaking from his
assumption
that
point it's only liberal judges letting off people.
Of course, and that's not. We all know that that's not true. Exactly.
So it's ignorance.
100%. 100. I'm not going to dispute it. Yeah, I completely agree with it.
So he's
a judge's affiliation doesn't make him
a good judge.
A good judge, or only a sentence one way, or give his rulings one way. It all depends on whether or not that judge relates to you when they look at you, or
they have character.
You. Right, 100%. Because once again, when I did Brenda's campaign, it was all about reform, because he was sitting in court. Because I would speak with him and we talk about his platform and why it was him. What was that?
That was Mahliik doing something.
Oh,
probably didn't get out of business.
His thing was, he was, as a defense lawyer, when he would be in court with his clients, he would see, because when you're in court, you're not just there for your clients, you see other people going ahead of you, right? Yeah. And he would see people going in front of a judge with the exact same or very similar cases, right? First time offender, blah, 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 blah. This is your charge. It's a misdemeanor. And there was a huge disparity between one person and another. And the very obvious difference was the color of their skin or their ethnic makeup. Right. So that's one of the reasons why he ran on the platform that he did. And I got behind that 100% because I get that. And that's one of the things he was trying to do.
But your dad has chosen to stay ignorant to that reality.
Right. Well, I'm not defending my dad at all. I'm just saying that it's not about the political party of the judge. It's about who that judge is as a person.
Yes, but that is 100%. The essence of all of this shit. Because it's like, no matter what these people's political affiliation is, if you're an asshole, you are an asshole. You could be blue or red. And I also would like to note that Mary changed her affiliation to Libertarian.
Who?
The wife of James Carville. I went and researched.
Did you hear that, Mr. Palmer?
She changed herself?
Yeah, in 2016, she went from Republican to Libertarian.
Did she vote Republican?
Girl, I don't know what the hell she be doing. I just know what they said. They said.
I want to know where her vote got, because in Louisiana, that's a red state.
I'm pretty sure she probably voted Republican, but she changed her affiliation. Listen, I have a girlfriend who is, she told me that we need a new party, to be honest. And then she was like, we need somebody to run. And I'm like, we need some people to care enough to join this new affiliation.
Well, they need somebody, they need some peoples to do more than come pop up every 4 years. If you want to get somebody's vote, if you want to get more than 3,000,
just like you were saying about
million votes, you need to get more. You need to pop up more than every 4 years.
So what do you think we can do? Yeah.
Like, well, one of the things. Can we talk about the app? Did you already talk about the app?
Not really.
Okay, so can we talk about your app real quick, because that's one of the things we can do to change it. Because to segue to what DK said.
I could barely hear. Say it again.
I'm sorry. Is my microphone working?
Is this thing on?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's
Testing,
working, but
mic
you
check.
like all the way.
I'm like
back
Eric
to
Simon.
Like, look where the chair is. I'm like, I saw Jenna pull up. She was like, no.
I'm gonna be like EPMD.
They scared.
Can you hear me back here?
Yes, I can hear you back there.
I'm gonna be like EPMD on the microphone.
You got that kind of
like
voice.
this,
Like, I said my name is Diane.
like everybody knows what EPMD stands for, right? No. Y'all, has anybody ever heard of EPMD? Okay.
Eric Sermon. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you talking about the rapper?
Yeah, I was like the group or something political. No. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'm like,
Anyway, yeah. So that's what I was talking about on the microphone, like EPMD.
Okay.
The question was, I asked that you guys already discussed the app, because DK referred to what can we do to change that. Well, that's one of the things. One of the goals of the app is to streamline that, right?
Right. Well, say the question again, just so I can understand.
Okay.
We're trying to determine how we can. Well, my question was, I don't know if this was DK's question or not, but we're trying to figure out how we could change, not having a 3-party system. That was what I thought.
having a 2-party, really.
To change to it. You say change to a 3-party system?
Yeah, that's the goal. Like, a lot of people want to change to a 3-party system, but the whole issue with the 3-party system is that you never hear anything about that third party until every 4 years. Why don't we hear anything about them in between elections? And then DK's question was, well, what can we do to change that?
Right. So when you start thinking about the party system, obviously the first thing that comes to money is constituents, and then the second thing is money. Pretty much Democrats and Republicans have that locked up. You're either one or the other, and they all have the financial backing to take it all the way to November 3rd, like tonight. The Libertarian, Green Party, independent parties, and so forth are starting to gain traction. They just still do not have enough people behind and supporting them. You speak of Marion switching parties from the Republican Party to Libertarian. If you look at the platform of a Libertarian versus Republican, it is kind of closely aligned. There are some differences between the two, but they are closely aligned. But having said that, unless you get enough people to start signing on and say, hey, you know what? And again, a lot of this also has to deal with states. Like, for instance, here in Georgia, when you go vote in a primary, you have to be a registered Democrat or Republican. You cannot be an independent. You can't say, hey, I just want to kind of go in and vote either way. And I want to vote for somebody in the Republican Party, or I want to vote for somebody in the Democrat. You have to be a registered one or the other. So when you think of the states, they also have to change it and make it easier for other parties to be able to join in, because a lot of times they don't even put them on the ballot. The third party candidates in particular. So, and a lot of times, if you look out in California, I think they had, I don't know what it was in Texas, but when you went to vote, did you see Kanye West on there?
No, he wasn't on there. He wasn't on
But
there.
in California, he was.
But he directed everybody to write him in.
Right. Well, in California, he
So
wasn't.
then we would really need to now I'm saying we would really, because I'm attempting to make manifestation here.
Right.
So we would need to create the party and build the momentum and then elect the candidate,
Right.
essentially.
My concern though is if you pull too much from one party, then that other traditional party is always going to win because the votes are split. So you have to find a way to have a party that's going to pull from both sides.
Right.
I don't give all three a fair chance.
I think it would have to. It would not be like lickety split.
No, it's over time.
You know,
or a major world event or a major US event that would cause change and somebody to say, let's stand up and do something different. We're tired of the Democrats and the Republicans, not just in fighting against each other, but actual real change. But it's gonna take something so big.
And you know,
I'm trying to see you guys.
I don't know where he went, but I sort of see something like
no,
that.
I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm trying.
And the reason why I say that is because like some of our planets are aligned just like they were in the revolution, but we're going to have to swing from like we're going to have to bring in that energy. And the only thing that I can recall in my lifetime that had me feeling like, wow, I just love everybody was 9/11. So it's going to take something on that scale. Maybe not that type of event to
aliens.
Could be, but just something something that shifts us to love. And that says, no, we're done with
a party that says, come on, come here.
Yeah. Which is why I said, so we have to create the party and then elect the candidate from our
and then we have to not allow the media to be able to be so negative. And then when they're negative, we reject it as a country.
Right.
Because now that's what sells. And so that's what they push. All these negative ads, all this, this person's bad, this person's this and that.
Right. So how many options did you guys have in Texas for presidential candidate?
How many what?
Options? I don't think we had. Well, maybe what was there? One?
So you only had like
I don't even know if Joe was on there.
and Joe Biden.
Joe
Jorgensen. There were four.
Yeah.
No, there was a fourth person. I don't remember who it was.
Okay, so this is
breaking news.
I don't know if you can see this, but this is what my brother sent me from California. They had the Republican Party, of course, Donald Trump, Mike Pence. They had the Peace and Freedom Party, Gloria and Sunil. They had the American Independent Party, which was Kanye West and Rocky Del Guerrera, whoever that is.
Wait, that was his running mate?
Yeah. but wait a minute, hold on. Kanye West was listed as the vice president.
Oh.
So I don't know if you can see it under the circle.
Who was the president? Who was the presidential candidate?
Rocky de la Fuentes.
He wasn't even listed as the president?
No, so the circle is Kanye West. He was listed
They use a Scantron.
We had Donald J. Trump, Joe Biden, Joe Jorgensen, and Howie Hawkins.
Okay,
yeah. So Joe Jorgensen was the libertarian, right?
He's a Green Party. Howie was Green Party, and Joe was libertarian.
Yes. Okay.
He went ahead and got 23,000 votes.
Some of the for the Senate.
Oh my goodness! I don't know what to say about all this.
Yeah. So the results came in for the South. Which one? South or North Carolina with Lindsey Graham. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. First of all, Lady G.
You know what? I'm going to the kitchen.
Lady G.
I'll be right back.
Can you refresh mine?
You come back. I'm gonna
go ahead.
Get some food. I was about to get some.
Can you refresh mine? There's more coke in the wine chiller. So
I don't know if we need any more.
Yeah, I do because that's what I just So okay, so apparently all the things that the Republican Party are against, like Lindsey Graham, embodies all of those things because. So I just don't get it, and he is so unbelievable. Like Jamie Harrison outraised him. Like he made the most. He he raised the most money in Senate campaign history when he brought in that $57 million in the matter of a couple of days. Like, he has raised more money in a Senate race than anyone. How is it? That tells you, first of all, he was in one of the Carolinas.
That's a problem.
Right, that's a problem. But Lindsey Graham, like, he's useless. Lindsey Graham, once again, voting against
but he might be safe. He might be safe for
it's
them.
Not about safe.
For them, not. I mean, do you ever think there's any cheating going on? Because I do.
I don't know.
Did you guys ever watch Scandal?
Of course, Olivia Pope. Yes, of course.
I think that there was a lot of voter machine tampering with. No, I'm just joking. I'm pretty sure.
I don't doubt it, but I think that there's a deeper issue that if so many people thought that Lindsey Graham is fucked up as he is, there wouldn't be a doubt. Like, you have to win by so much that there's no doubt. When it's a close race like that, everybody knows that Lindsey Graham is just a horrible person, but he still wins by us. Yeah.
Well, let's hope 2020 gets him. Oh, did I say that? No, my bad.
No,
okay.
I can't fix it.
So, in Jasper, Texas.
Okay.
So I know
about voting in Jasper, Texas. Everybody knows what Jasper, Texas is. Jasper, Texas became famous
because of James Byrd.
James Byrd, right? Was dragged and lynched. Thank you very much.
And
thank you.
So my friend's granddaughter voted there, and the lady scratched out certain things on her Scantron. Yeah, they're still doing the Scantron.
In Jasper, Texas, they vote by Scantron.
Put it in a box, and then she said, "What? Are you even allowed to put this on my Scantron? Are you allowed to make any marks?" And she said, "I thought you weren't allowed to do that." She goes, "Don't believe everything you hear on Facebook." And I was like, if that shouldn't have made you turn around and get out of there. I said, first of all, let me tell you, never vote in Jasper if you want your vote to count. First of all, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, okay.
So she's Hispanic, and I guess she trusted the system a little too much until she met that lady. And now they want to see what she can do because she's getting these texts saying you still need to go vote. So she doesn't know if her vote counted. And I said, well, first of all, you need to complain and, write a formal complaint about this woman.
Well, technically, Jasper has like 10 people in it. Let's just go.
Secretary of State's office.
Huh?
Secretary of State's office in Texas.
Is what?
That's where she needs to file her complaint.
Oh, okay. Yes. I thought you were
I sent her a link.
Okay. Yeah.
But but now I was like, well, you need to I said, what I would recommend is maybe going to a polling place here in Houston and seeing if it shows you've already voted. But I think it would show it regardless.
I think it was
I don't know if they threw her. No, but she works there and you could vote anywhere, apparently. I didn't know she could vote out of county.
See, that's part of the problem. It's not streamlined from state to state. You like you said, you have hanging chads, you got Scantrons, you got write-in candidates, and you have, like what we have, which was electronic voting machines. It needs to be universal across the board, and it needs to be, the results actually need to be known today on the 3rd, unless you are in the military and you're doing an absentee ballot. Other than that, they should still be able to do electronic voting from afar.
Well, yeah. When you get to the concept of electronic voting from afar, though, that gives, especially with the current administration that we have, that leads way too much for Russia and other hacking. So we have unsecure, channels, internet connections.
Well, that's part of our own country putting in safeguards for that. But at the same time, we still pay our bills online. I pay my credit cards, my mortgage, and everything on my phone with my app, and that's that lets me know that it's secure. But if we can pay our mortgage and stuff online through our computers or on our phone, we should be able to do our voting online.
Well, I think it's a lot more.
In theory, I get it. I can honestly say, would I be comfortable with casting my vote electronically? I don't know.
Well, I think it's still safer than a Scantron where these people have control. I mean, maybe that's why we stay red, because we don't know what they're doing in these smaller towns.
Right.
They're going through and chunking out the
we stay red vote because of gerrymandering. That's why we stay red. Because Texas is not a red state.
No, only all the cities, all the major cities are blue and everything else is red. Right. Literally everything. Are you okay?
Just the fact that Lindsey Graham
I know.
that's disgusting to me. That is
That's
heartbreaking.
so disappointing.
So
Come on, 2020.
How much longer?
Come on, 2020.
I can tolerate this soberly. So I don't even know. Do you have the count? Do you have the current EC count up, Mr. Palmer?
Yeah, I'm trying to update. I just got something that shows Trump dancing or something.
Trump what?
Dancing.
Holy Ghost. I think Michelle has it up here on the but I don't know where.
On one of those
Yeah,
18
I'm
pages
not sure.
up.
Yeah, I don't want to just put it up there and then just mess up the whole thing and then the podcast just drops. So yeah, I really don't know what to make of
Lindsey Graham?
Yeah. The fact that I asked a couple times because my coworkers are she's kind of watching those results, and I just don't know how to process that.
My theory, honestly, is that Republicans who I think there's a little classism going on, because when have you ever known a rich Republican to want to associate with those trailer park low life, so to speak?
It's not about,
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, I think they want Trump out, but they don't want Democrats to completely take over. So I think they voted straight red ticket except for the presidency. And that's why Lindsey Graham is still there. But I think in theory, if I'm correct, Trump will still be out, but a lot of Republicans will stay in those states.
A Democratic Senate.
We're probably not going to get it. We're just going to get rid of Trump. I mean, unfortunately, it's 2020. We can't have that. It's just not going to work like that. Okay, so
I'll tell you why I think we need a Democratic Senate. We need a Democratic Senate because if you have a Democrat House and Republican Senate, everything that passes the House gets to the Senate and dies. It dies on the Senate floor. Yeah. And I just can't. I mean, the fact that the Senate decided to just not even hold a trial, not even listen to anything. They just, once again, it got to the Senate and it just passed simply because I don't. The next administration, if Donald Trump is voted out, they're going to get into the White House and they're going to see all the stuff that he did and did not do. And in order for him to be held accountable, you need a Democratic Senate because the Republican Senate is not going to do anything. It's not going to. It's all going to die. Man. You look stressed out. What's going on?
Yeah, it's just so on the electoral map, they're starting to march westward, and they're right there in the mountain time zone on most of these states. But of course, we already knew which ones were going to go for Trump anyway. But like for instance, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania are currently showing leads for Trump right now. So these are states that were considered toss-ups that could potentially go in Biden's favor because he was polling better. Huh?
Even Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania right now is showing a pinkish color. So the way they're doing the maps right now is if it's a solid red, Trump has got it. It's a win for him. If it's solid blue, obviously the same for Joe Biden. So if it's a light blue, it's leading Joe Biden. And if it's a light red or pink, then it's leading Donald Trump. And right now it's showing Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maine even leaning Donald Trump's favor as of right now. I don't know what the percentage are. Right now, Wisconsin is showing with, only 36% reporting, but still.
It's Wisconsin, though.
And Pennsylvania is only 25% reporting. So
yeah, I'm showing
the fact that it's that close, it makes me sick. The fact that it's even that close makes me sick.
It's 131 total votes for Biden, 98 for Trump. The Senate, 43 for Democrats. We gained a seat. Republicans lost one. They have 39. The House has 61. Democrats gained a seat and 84 for the Republican. Right now.
Can't. At this point, I'm gonna have to dismiss myself from the podcast at this point. I just can't.
Angry?
I can't.
Because you're frustrated?
I can't.
Lindsay.
And I can't be sober for the rest of the remainder of this. I can't do it. I refuse. It's been lovely having you on. I really appreciate, you taking the time to join us. I'm going to have to check out now because there's just no way I can continue on with this. I can't. I'm going to go sing some Negro spirituals.
I'm going to finally.
Huh?
I said, my daughter just brought me something to eat, so I'm
Oh,
going to eat.
that's so sweet.
What is it?
It's a chicken tortilla soup.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay,
Oh.
Nicole, now talk about how you cook that fish before you leave.
All I did was throw a little bit of seasoning on it and put it in the oven 375 in my Gen Air. My Gen Air oven. Double ovens. I used to have double ovens.
We'll do a tour of the house at some point.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to step away for a second so I can quickly take a break. But
go ahead, take a break, and then they can talk. But I'm just gonna have to dismiss myself because I honestly cannot. I cannot right now. So.
But nobody's judging you,
right? I just
and when you leave, when you get ready to leave, as soon as he comes back, we gonna shut it down.
Okay.
Oh, so he could have waited.
He was gonna eat. Yeah,
he wanted to eat the soup while it was hot.
Mm-hmm. That fish was good. My mouth was very oily.
Okay. I put a little olive oil on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're about to shut it down, I can wait.
Okay.
Or I'll go.
No, we're about to shut it down when he comes back. Yeah, I mean, I just want to.
But he might eat slow. I don't know.
He probably does. Well, he's probably gonna eat it fast because it's like, oh my, get back to the show. Shut it down. And
okay, thank you. So yeah.
I just want to say thanks to the 0 people that we've got watching at present.
But people watch after the fact, which is awesome. The counts go up, so maybe people are watching the electoral map on TV, but you get the views afterwards, which I think is awesome. The fact people view it after the fact is awesome.
I never fret about this type of thing. In the beginning, I would have my feelings hurt because I'd be like, oh my God, everyone's watching.
But your numbers say different.
Bitch, I'm about to hit 10,000 on the
See?
audio. 10,000
Nice.
I'm going to get to 10,000 a month because then I want to be like, you bitches know you want to sell your product through here. Come on with it. And
this commercial break is brought to you by.
It's brought to you by Creative Ed.
And I would like to also take this moment to give a shout out to Culture Realty, Sherry Haynes Cabrera, my realtor.
All right, Sherry.
She's the reason why I got this house. I just want to say that. Mid-America Mortgage, thank you very much. Chantel Evans, she was the bomb.
Beautiful home.
Thank you. I mean, it's my dream house I'm currently residing in. I was going to pull my hair out.
We're about to have so many foolish, ridiculous parties at the Zen Garden with just us two.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't. I'm so excited for it. I'm going to be like, everyone... Spirit is saying in the Zen Garden.
So what do I need to do to be watching this?
It's on my page. I have a watch party. And
it's on Bug, right? BUG. It's on BUG
on the podcast page.
Okay.
And then I have it in the group as well. So
yeah, Jim, George yourself on the podcast. So cute too. So cute.
But she didn't really want to be on the podcast a little bit, but she didn't.
So cute though, because you're so cute though.
So what do you do though?
But then tell you how I know her. This is the deal. I have to get the story about how I know Jen and Diane. Okay. Long story short. Do I have to give the story all over again, or do you want to give it? Diane.
Right.
Diane can give the story. Diane will give the story.
No, you give the story.
No,
it's better when you tell it.
Tonight, so Diane can give it. All right, that's my story.
Oh my God.
It's already working. Yeah. So Diane can give the story because I already gave it once.
So she dated my cousin. That's the short. You want the short version? Because I don't know the long version.
Right. That's a real short version, like a million years. Like,
but they were like,
huh?
A what relationship?
Toxic?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I
mean, my cousin used to smile so much and just be so happy. He always had his arm around her waist. But we were they were young, I guess, and so it wasn't. I don't know. I guess. I don't know.
I was family.
Definitely. I mean, Nicole came to everything. So my whole family knows Nicole. The boys even know. The boys don't. My boys don't remember anybody. Yeah, he's married now.
No. He's happily married. So but no, he's still a good guy. He's a great guy. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, y'all know each other.
Yeah. So we've known for
20 something, 20. So
maybe 30 years?
It's 20, no, 25.
Yeah, I'm only 26, so we
yeah.
know each other since
I'm
like
But I was like, I was 16. I was 16. I was 16 because that's when I met. Yeah,
okay.
I was 16. So that's what
you were 16.
I was 16 when I first met.
right. It's gonna turn.
old.
But I shared it on my page. I got started with one.
Right, Diane.
So yeah, that means that that's 25 years ago.
25.
So that's how long. Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe it, but I was like 10.
Okay, let's not.
Okay, I'm like I was 20.
Yeah, it was like I was
So,
so no, that's how.
But my spirit was old. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Her
At
spirit-
10, not at 10, not at 10.
Like she was
Hell
10 listening
no.
to Al
Oh,
Green.
yes, I was.
Like
actually.
she was 10 years
You
old
know-
listening to Al Green and like Johnny Taylor.
Do you know what my favorite song was? Crystal Blue Persuasions by the Tommy James and the Strong.
I've never heard that. Who that? I
Are you
don't know.
serious?
Like I don't know.
Never.
Never.
God, that song came out in 1969.
Well,
Oh, that's why.
I was listening like I was listening to like Betty Wright, which is like nothing any 10-year-old should be listening to.
Yeah.
Betty Wright.
No,
I mean, we grew up Caribbean.
Don't play Mr. Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Charlie is just a man, and he's doing the best he can. Absolutely,
Yes,
like
girl.
I'm settling for less than I should. My man ain't shit. Like
Right.
that's the anthem.
And she was
That's
a big
anthem.
proponent for that. And we're like, yes, Betty.
Betty Wright struggle
Singing
love.
right along.
Is wrong.
Struggle love.
Struggle love.
Struggle like Betty Wright sung about struggle love.
Well, apparently that's timeless. So, I'm just saying. It's like, that's not a good thing, but I mean, there's a lot of struggle love out
Struggle
there.
love 101. How to not do it. How to not do
But
it.
I am glad that I'm to the point in my life, and this is off topic because we're talking about politics. But anyway, this is
But
Venus girls.
like our guest
Yeah.
speaker is gone, so we're good. Like we're good.
I feel like I'm glad I'm going to life where I'm like, I will be alone like a big bitch. I don't fucking care. But I'm not going to settle for no bullshit in my life. I don't care if
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Because people want to say, you know what? If I know what I'm looking for, Jen, we have these talks all the time. And I give people way too many chances, and I still don't even give a lot of chances. But you know what I'm going to tell you? If you tell me, if you say, I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
I expect you to do it. If you're not, I'm going to tell you,
Well, you
hey,
hold people
this
at
is
their
what I'm
word.
looking
Yeah.
for. Yeah. And then when I go silent, it's over. It's a wrap. But they always come back because, you know what I mean?
Because you got that $1 million.
Wow. No, but I mean, the point is, why? If I've waited all this time, I mean, so my whole goal is if I can find a husband by 50 years old, I'm 45. So if I can find a husband by 50, I can still, and he has good health, I can still have 30 years of a great marriage. Let's say he lives till 80 or beyond. Why are you looking like that?
Because
50?
what the hell kind of goal
I'm
is
just
that?
I'm saying 30 more years. What I'm saying is people get married. I could have been married at 20 something and been unhappily married all this time.
True.
But so if I've waited this long
True.
for a husband, because it's been me, I have not, literally until recently, I have not desired to be married because forever is such a long time. Or I won't say I never desired it, but it was, you know.
You feel like you
it
had
just-
some commitment apprehensions about really.
Yes,
doing it.
because I mean, so growing up Caribbean, growing up Canadian, and then growing up American, I have a lot of different cultural mixes, and I feel like so Black people in the Caribbean, Canada, and here, we all have a lot of things that are similar, but there are also a lot of differences, and those differences, for whatever reason, in the men I've dated compared to the men I've seen growing up is a lot different. So I think it's me. You know what I mean? I'd be like, that's not what I'm looking for. And so I'm quick to just be like, I need somebody to captivate me. And there have been people, but
That word.
Captivate, that's a good word.
You
Because
gotta
they-
take me off of this place.
right, I mean, just I just don't have time for the games.
Captivate me.
She's like the mind, the
Kidnap me.
subconscious
Right,
talking to me.
right. She's like, kidnap me with your love.
Right.
Hold me
I'm
hostage.
trying to be kidnapped in love.
Right.
But that's what we need. Somebody that loves us, that's serious. You know what? I'll take a reformed hoe. I'll take
Okay.
a,
You know how to fuck good too.
amen. But
You
so,
gave me drinks.
so yeah.
Apologize if there. We apologize for any. If this is a family audience, this is my
right
right.
here. Y'all know none of my stuff was ever made for children. It's my escape zone.
Yeah, Michelle has never been
But,
for PG
she-
audiences.
But Michelle's always kept it real though.
Oh, I know. That's why she's,
100% all the time.
that's what I like about her.
Okay, so the first time, let's rewind that and tell me about that. When
you were there. I invited you since MBMP.
You invited me to MBMP, and I remember clearly.
Oh, that
first.
first.
I thought you was a guy because I thought your name was Michael, right? And so
when I made that killer introduction,
yeah, she made that killer introduction like MBMP, and this was my very first Facebook group. I had never been in a Facebook group before.
It was mine too.
And so Diane, she's like, okay, I'm gonna put you in this group too. You know, there's people that I was being really antisocial. I wasn't going out.
Are you working?
Before I invited her.
Yeah, I never had been in a Facebook group. I wasn't going out. I wasn't doing anything. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna, you need to be more social. We need to go out more. And then this group, they do events, they do get together. So I'm like, okay, I guess. It was right after I came back from France.
Yes.
Right? And I was like, really, and she was like, you need to get out there, you need to be seeing people. And I'm like, I just want to be a hermit. I want to live my best hermit life. Yeah. So she put me in this group. I had no idea what Facebook groups were about. I had no idea about the gates. I didn't know about community dick. I didn't know about any of that, right? And so she puts me in this group, and I'm all like, oh, okay.
But my intro was like, yeah, this is my girl. She's a real chef, and I said all this,
and I was
single
like,
to mingle, and all
that. I was like,
yeah,
and
it's like a sales.
Right. I had no idea. We like welcome. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like
it didn't stay that way for long.
And so I was like, okay, so and then I had my first interaction with Ron Freeman. I called him.
Last week, another gem.
He's first and like, have you listen. You have no idea. Okay.
Jen, sit this one out. Don't start talking now, girl.
Last week,
you put him on blast. I'm putting you on blast.
He went ahead and said that people like myself with children, like Diane, you both want to have kids.
Looks like me, who are super old, apparently. Apparently, I got dust on it.
Instantly, your value is diminished and decreased, and we must know it.
No, wait. We already start out diminished value because we're Black women. Like, we're already at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah.
Because the Asian women got it.
Do you want to guess what he voted?
No.
No, Jen.
You need to guess.
We know.
Do you think he did?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, without a doubt. He talked about it. He was on Tanya on another post, and he was all the stuff he was saying. So no, he didn't say. He won't come out and say it, but we already know. And I was like, well, it's obvious.
He tapped it. He's like, champions.
We don't even have enough rhythm to be Sambo.
Yeah, like, but legit. So yeah, no.
I'm sad.
So I had my first interaction with him, and I was like, okay, but it wasn't egregious. It wasn't egregious. So I was like, okay, he's kind of different. He thinks differently. But of course, over the years, you kind of see the right.
It's the degrading of. Right. I asked him today. I said, "How did you still find a way to say something negative about Black women?"
People find a way.
The sun is shining today.
Well, Black women
block the sun. I mean, come on.
Literally, he has something always negative to say. Always.
And unless he's talking about white people
or Asian women.
Oh, unless he's wait. The only time he's not saying anything negative about us is when he's uplifting someone over us. That's the only time. And so he has a serious complex about it. But then if you ask him, about his sister or his mom, you could be asking in the most polite way, in the most non-offensive. Okay, so I mean, can you tell me your thoughts on these things these judgments that you're passing on everyone else? Mm-hmm. Don't you have someone that you care about that is in that same demographic, meaning a female of African origin, and he will just blow up.
Yeah, if you ask him if his mama is Black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to get into it.
No, we're not.
So tell about how you saw me. You said I was.
Oh yeah, so I'm sorry, I digress. He just likes to look here, but yeah, so and I met you, and I was like, okay, and because. One of the things, and I think it was like a misunderstanding, honestly, because they were talking about land and all these other things, and I was like, but I don't have any children, and I was kind of, and I think I probably came off as judgmental because I always come off as judgmental because that's who I am. I just don't know why. It's just because I'm dry. And then you said something, and then I was like, no, that's not what I meant. And then Brian chimed in. No, we didn't get into a fight. There was no fight at all. No. And then I think Brian, who I just absolutely love, she's amazing. She's my favorite person.
We both be triggered.
Yeah, I love her though. I love her. I like send her hugs in the universe. But yeah, I didn't know that she was a female. I thought she was a god. And so once
what
again,
are these two guys with these women in the photo?
Right? Because remember, she just had the one eye.
Yeah.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Ryan, you should be blah 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 blah. And I said like I think I said he, and then she was like, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like that's one thing you don't want to say, because I've been called him before, and I'm like, oh, it's my mustache.
Hey guys.
So, hey!
He just sat down.
It's because of my mustache.
Because of my mustache, I got the whole
Yeah.
shadow thing going on.
Look, my son is very upset right now about his mustache. He probably would be super nervous.
About my mustache? Let me tell you, I got a mustache that could, it can rival a couple of like Borat's mustache. No?
I've been blessed with no facial hair.
Well, it must be
Thank
nice.
God.
That is awesome, flawless.
Thank you. I see all the flaws. I have freckles now. My mom has a lot of freckles. Oh, thank you.
Hey guys.
Hi. So how was your soup?
Spectacular.
We went on a complete tangent. So while you were gone, we went on commercial break. We started talking about things.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but my eyes are very heavy.
No, it's okay because we're getting ready. We're actually ready for you to come back. We're about to close out because I just can't know anymore with these results.
So just let's go over where we're at right now
before we close out,
and then everybody give their. I know you're not gonna talk, but y'all too, because I don't care about this.
Like, I do. How do you not care?
I mean, I voted.
Catch me outside. How about that? Like I literally want to fight somebody.
I get to vote.
Okay, fine.
But what I'm saying is, I just believe that things will do what they're going to do. So my stress about who wins is going to do nothing but cause me upset and fuck them people.
So what did you want us to say last after he goes over the numbers?
Thoughts, I guess.
Closing thoughts on what you think.
Okay, so let's tell us what the numbers are before we close out.
Okay, so as of right now, CNN is reporting Joe Biden with 89 electoral colleges, 47.8%, and Trump at 72 electoral college votes. And they're projecting a couple of other states right now.
Okay, so you said 89 to 72?
So there's 89 to 72, yes.
Oh, that's still too close for me.
So right now they're showing Arizona with a 71% reporting leaning towards Joe Biden, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. They're showing the state of Montana leading towards Joe Biden, but only with 21%, but still a long ways to go. Then you have Minnesota and Iowa, of all places, all leaning towards Joe Biden.
Iowa's good though. Iowa was up for the
was a toss-up. That's correct.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot to go. As of right now, they're predicting the 131 to 98 within the next closeout, which is in 37 minutes. 37 minutes when the next closeout happens, and they'll be able to project some other states, but they're projecting a 131 for Joe Biden and 98 for Donald Trump as of right now.
What's the max number?
270. That's the number you got to get to.
270 is the
so
is the min that you can have.
Like 250, and then we would be done.
No,
270.
270 is the
you
number.
Have to get 270.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If not, it goes to the Supreme Court.
So I just got breaking news. It says software issue delaying the process of up to 80,000 mail-in votes being counted.
Not surprising.
Where?
Well,
it's here in Georgia.
Oh, in Georgia.
Of course.
Not surprised.
Conveniently in a red state.
In a red state. A traditionally red state. Georgia was kind of going purple. A lot of people were coming out because of the whole Stacey Abrams debacle. So a lot of people were like, lining up and doing a lot of proactive voting versus like day of because of the BS that Georgia pulled with Stacey Abrams.
54,000 votes she lost by.
Yeah. It was, and we know we know that wasn't a real, I don't think that she really lost. Stacey Abrams did not lose. She did not lose.
No, they made her lose.
They made her
yeah.
lose.
They made her lose.
Stacey Abrams did not lose to Georgia. She would have been the first Black female governor, first Black governor in the country.
So
well, the Senate seats are all here in the Georgia are looking like they're getting ready to go towards a runoff.
I'm not surprised. Okay, we gotta go because I'm gonna start cussing, and I just don't want that because I try to be a very positive influence, but you know that just the night's gonna end with Hennessy and cussing. That's where we're going right now.
I think
talk a little bit about the app.
Let's talk to us about the app. Tell us about your app. Tell us about your app. This is the logo right here. That's the app right there.
You
I
decide.
think it's a great app. It's a great app, and we really, honestly, it's an educational tool. That's one of the things we're trying to get it.
I would love to put some courses through there.
You would like to do what now?
Courses?
Courses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Like something, just, like beef it up some and
let's sell it. Let's talk about it. Let's get it out here. We want to promote your app. We need to get this into front of people because it's a great tool. It's a great learning tool.
I appreciate that. There's a lot that we have behind the scenes that are happening. I would definitely like to speak to you guys later on and kind of explain that. But one of the things that you should all know about the app is that it's non-biased. That's first and foremost. And it is simply an informational tool to be able to help the user and potential voter to be able to understand how politics works, while also connecting them with their representatives, whether in the state, whether in federal government or localized government in their own city and backyard. It allows you to find out your voting status, where your polling place locations are. It gives you all the political news that you may not know because of too much commentary behind the scenes. So you get directly from the horse's mouth so that you can make your own determination of how it resonates with you, what they're talking about. So a lot of good material. We have some updates that are coming next year. Had to put a lot of things on pause because of the COVID issue. As you guys probably don't know, I'm an airline pilot, so my industry is very, very hard for the COVID issue. But I pulled back some resources because I was unsure how that was all going to pan out, but it looks like things are starting to settle. So I'm picking back up with the improvements on the app, but I will definitely share that with you guys at a later time. But we are working here in the state of Georgia, in particular my county, to get it into the school system so that it could be kind of a tutorial to help children as they start to go through their developmental process of how politics work and their voting rights and things of that sort, and see how that they can navigate the political process and best understand how it works for them.
It's much needed.
It's well, it helped me too. I'll give you a quick story. My daughter got a speeding ticket. Well, not a speeding ticket. She got a moving violation ticket for not moving over an extra lane when a cop had already pulled over another person. And he basically ran her down about 2-3 miles later and wrote her a ticket for not moving over. She never went fast or anything because he didn't write her a speeding ticket. It was just the fact that she didn't move over. Well, I had her take me back to the location, and the traffic doesn't allow you to move over any further because of oncoming traffic. It starts to break to where it divides to where you make a turn onto a perpendicular street, but it happened before that, so she wouldn't have had that opportunity to move over to an extra lane. But anyway, be that as it may, we used the app, and then she was like, "Dad, what do we do?" So I was like, "Well, we got to contact the guy that works in the secretary's office at the court, at the clerk system." And we use that to find the guy that actually can either throw a ticket out, reduce the fine, or actually has the ability to basically say, "Hey, you know what? We're just going to send you to a driver's school." Wow. And this all goes away. So we actually got it reduced, and it was thrown off her record. So
wow,
nice.
That's a really good selling point. That's awesome.
Parents will buy it just for that.
Right, exactly, right? Got a kid driving age? Let's go ahead and download this app.
I mean,
exactly,
I
right?
have moving violations.
It's the Solicitor General's office. I'm trying to remember it. It's the Solicitor General's office here.
But yeah, but it helps to know who the people are that you are electing into these positions of power. That's why local elections are so important.
And local elections are very important. And like I said, this guy's on the back there. We contacted him directly via phone call and email, and was able to get in and talk to him. So.
Know who's in your area. Know who's running your government. Know who's running your local streets. Great
Because
selling
Donald
point.
Trump may actually be your city council worker right behind you.
Let's stop there, right there. Thank you very much. Michelle, would you look at the time?
All right, ladies, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming on. And I apologize for being late, everybody, but I had to cook dinner and I'm hungry. All right.
Well, look.
Any parting words for Diane? Just going to give us some
parting words. You look like a pilot. So. I just want to say, voting is important. Having your voice heard is important. Understanding what you're voting for is important. Don't let people. I don't know. Maybe just kind of educate yourself.
Exactly. One of the big things we push is educating yourself.
So I think that's my main point for tonight is that there's a lot going on. The world is changing, and I don't know if America's changing fast enough with it, but you can do your own part in those local elections. Like I said, with the 2 judges that were putting 50% of the Black kids in jail, but not doing the same to other kids doing the same crimes that were white. I mean, we can't be apathetic and allow those things to continue on. We have to make a change because it's affecting our kids and our futures. And I'm going to say this last thing and close out. So me and somebody got into it on Facebook. Imagine that.
Shocker.
Shocking.
Okay.
But let me say what happened. She said that she has a second profile that's white. And she's in these.
Is she Black?
She's Black.
Okay.
It's a Black female. She has a second profile where she's a white person in these hate groups.
Okay.
So Jimmy. So she, okay. No, it's very serious because she said that in these groups, they're saying if Trump doesn't win, they're going to go out and shoot Black people. Wow. So Joy Glenn, shout out to Joy, posed the simple question of, have you reported any of this? And she said, no. And I said, well, no, or maybe she didn't respond at the point. I don't remember. She said no or whatever. But I said, you know what? That's a very good point because
our friend also?
No,
okay.
Thank God. No, I wouldn't have a friend like that. So she says, no, because so she says, so I said, Joy, that's a really good question because people's lives could depend on it.
Right.
And she goes, oh, I'm sure the federal government already knows and all this stuff. And I said, but if you are a Black person and you see people saying they're going to go shoot up other Black people, why would you not go back and click report and report the comment? Because I said, you literally have an opportunity to save somebody's life. Save lives. She's like, oh, you're attacking me and saying I'm responsible. I said, that's not what I'm saying.
No,
listen, if somebody on a dark road, I want to say if you were on a dark road and 4 people passed you up and didn't help you with your flat tire and the 5th person who stops kills you, that doesn't mean the first 4 people are responsible. The 5th person who stopped is responsible for the death, but that doesn't mean the first 4 people couldn't have stopped it. So my point is, do something about it. You know what I mean? So my whole thing is when we vote and when we do all of these things, we kind of, we give a voice, speak up, let your voice be heard. Don't be that person who sits in the background and allows all of these things to go against people just like you, because it might be her own family member that ends up getting killed. And then she'll say, somebody should have done something. Well, it could have been you. Right. So my point is, let your voice be heard, speak up. Don't just take what's being given. There's better for you and there's more. Stand up for yourself. That's what America is about. It's a democracy. Don't be mute. So
church.
That's my point. Let me come to the back.
Diane took us to church.
Okay, so that was.
Keep going. I'm just sorry. I just like she did. Like that was it. Like how do you follow up with that?
Hallelujah. I don't know. Okay, so number 1, Facebook work with the government. Number 2, they do. I mean, so your point, report comments that are full of hate speech.
Yeah, and incendiary.
But Facebook work with the government because anytime I try to post the truth, if I want to post a picture of a lynching from 1960, whatever, they block my photos. So
I said Americans are selfish and they put me in jail.
On Facebook?
Facebook jail. I
That's
got tats
right.
to prove it.
Right. So Facebook works with the government. So somebody somewhere is working on a new app that will help us to be able to spread our message effectively and probably put us as a target, but that's okay because Mahliik got guns. And
What's that?
I mean, I'm serious. Like when we're doing this work and we're talking about really trying to affect change and we're making noise, we are going to become targets for somebody who's like, get them. They're trying to do something good. So that's okay. I'm okay with it because I've already committed myself to helping with the shift. So I just want to say thank you to Mahliik, who decide, and Nicole for saying we need to do this because I was like, girl, what? And so here we are.
Because I couldn't be here. I couldn't be alone tonight on election night. I just couldn't do it. It's just I needed a support system.
Well,
and
now you have all of us
the
here.
whole world, and it's the whole world because I can't. Like the last 4 years ago, I cried on election night. Actually, I cried on it.
I did too. I cried by myself for like 5 minutes because that's how I do. And then I was done. But we are going to do this more. I think we are talking about going through some of our laws and some of the books to discuss them
the world
and really just dive into it so that we can give the information that people don't know. Because I, for one, I am not even going to try to lie about it. I'm politically ignorant on a lot of things because, once again, I also don't care because I live in outer space. But
I do care. I'm the grounding force here. I do care. And I'm going to school y'all.
I'm like, Mars is just about to go direct.
Yeah, she's talking about Mercury retrograde. And I'm like, look, the First Amendment. Look, folks going 7 years ago. Let's talk about Gettysburg. What that mean to you.
Right.
Like, that's what I'm about. She's talking about Mercury retrograde. I'm talking about, let's talk about, our forefathers.
And that's important.
Yeah, it's important because, what does it have to do with me? It does have a lot to do with you, especially if you get pulled over.
Yes, it does. And if you get pulled over during Mercury retrograde, it's likely you will get a ticket. So that is why that's why she and I are going to mash it up and give you guys what you need.
We're gonna work it out.
Yeah. So,
I'm the yin to the yang.
Yeah. So we'll do this and Mahliik will show up to talk about You Decide and tell us the truth.
Right. Very animated.
No. And then, we'll get a speaker so that we can hear him really well so that we don't have to go like this.
Yeah, we're going to get a speaker.
But, I like these experiences because when you start something and then you keep doing it and it grows to be expansive, you can always look back fondly on the time whenever you sort of hobbled a little bit. So, I'm with it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm going to leave us with this closeout because she's talking about what we're going to have to do just in case, the Civil War happens. So I'm going to give our closeout song. I do not own the rights to this music.
Are you playing a Negro spiritual?
No, I do not own the rights to this music.
Hell yeah. Regulators. Mount up. Y'all know I liken myself to a female Nate Dogg.
Oh my gosh.
Hey. And then she got a karaoke version on top of that.
Wait, my bad. They just be putting anything on the internet. I was like, that's the song I remember. Hold on.
Are you out?
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Okay, bye, Mahliik.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good night.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'll catch you next time.
Regulators.
Mount up.
A clear white moon.
I'm like,
trying
to
consume.
figure out what, wait. I'm like,
right?
Wait, what happened? Like, why is that? That's not. I don't know that. That's
Those lyrics
on the LBC. I told, literally at one time I told my son this, and he was like, "No," and I was like, "I feel like I could be like Nate Dogg."
No.
I think I could.
I agree with that.
I think I could. I think I will do it. So, what? I know how to sing. I can make little ditties. All right, so everyone is out of here. Thank you guys for watching, and like I said, I'm just gonna finish my drink. I'm gonna pack all my studio shit up. And I'm going to try to eat the Snickers bar that's in Nicole's kitchen. And I'm not going to worry about this because if you watch me on the Morning Vibe, then you know that my theme song in my life is Don't You Worry About a Thing. And I'm serious about that shit. Like, there is nothing for us to worry about. All of this has already been designed. And no amount of concern that you have for who is going to be the president is going to change what has already been designed. So be at peace. And I'm going to share the link in the comments so that you guys can join me on the Morning Vibe Tribe. And then you can just, see me tomorrow. And we can be talking about who won. But I'm not about to stress about this. I'm not going to stress about anything. So, like I said, thank you so much. I will see you all next time. We will be doing this more regularly. We're going to be talking about life, whatnot, politics. We're going to be talking with Mahliik more about the app. And we're just going to be doing our thing because we need to. As DK said, the world is changing. I don't even know how DK got on the show, but I don't care. Live life. All right. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.